6 o'clock? Okay. Today is July 24th, 2026. The Lawrence Board of Zoning Appeals is called to order at this time. I need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from June 16, 2016.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Minutes stand as written. If you've not done so, please sign in the back of the room, and anyone wishing to speak tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Answer with I do. Thank you. Do we have any special requests tonight, continuance, withdrawals, or waivers? Okay. So at this time, the unfinished business from last month was 26 LSV 09 11711 Fox Road, partial 404-6907, City of Lawrence. Request a variance of development standard of the City of Indianapolis sign ordinance, table 744-906-1C, to permit the installation of a new pylon sign. The proposed sign will be 161 feet from the existing integrated center sign. 300 feet is required. Is there anybody here for this petition? Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Mark Baston, and I was here before in discussing the pylon sign that we wish to have on site, and we have since added information about a monument sign as a way to still hold a pricer for the shell location in the designated area that we have on the property. So with that, this is not about the additional sign as much as it is a case of the strict application of the table that creates a practical difficulty for an approved fuel center use. The fuel station was approved and constructed as part of this development, unlike any other tenant within the integrated center. A fuel station relies on communicating real-time fuel pricing to motorists approaching the site. The practical difficulty is not the fuel station itself. The practical difficulty is that existing integrated center sign occupies the location that would otherwise allow a compliant fuel price identification, while the ordinance prohibits another freestanding sign within 300 feet. As a result, the only option available to the fuel station is the existing tenant panel system, which is incapable of providing pricing visibility comparable to a typical fuel center. Therefore, the existing integrated center sign and the 300-foot separation requirement, when applied to this approved fuel station, create the practical difficulty. The response of the staff report the property lacks unusual topography, lot shape, or access limitations. And I agree, however, the request is not based on topography or lot shape. The practical difficulty arises because this particular use is a fuel station, and because a pre-existing integrated center sign prevents placement of a compliant fuel price monument under the 3-foot separation standard, the difficulty is created by the ordinance application to the site and the use combination, not by geography. So So, and I want to say that, you know, I was here the last time. I didn't have visuals. I've been involved with variances within Indy.gov, and so I was a little bit, you know, not thinking in terms of visuals at that point when I was here before. But I do have some pictures, if I may, just pass these out to allow them to see them. And I've got, yeah. I put the monument sign elevation drawing in the front of it, along with the site plan that's printed on the reverse side of that. And then, because I know we spoke about visuals before, not really seeing what was there and present, I printed out some simple photos that I took. And in the first photo after the rendering, you'll see the tenant panel sign that is in the background of the lot. And I'm actually standing in the location where the monument sign would be placed. So that is the distance that I think it's being called 161 feet. I kind of walked it off. I feel like it's slightly longer than that, probably closer to 190, but regardless, it's still not beyond the 300. So I understand the you know, the concern on that. But so then going from that photo showing the tenant panel sign, and I want you to make note that that new business in there that's in the old marsh, they've occupied the largest tenant panel in that sign. So what I'm left with is a tenant panel that is basically a 14-inch viewing window tall by about 49 inches wide for me to place a pricer in that, which equates to an 8-inch pricer. That's as small as we can go with a digital pricer, and that's as large as that will fit into that unit, given the height of it and everything. So, and there's only one tenant panel open in that sign, and so that really creates quite a visual, because if you can see, I know it's not crisp photos, but you can see that it's very unlegible at that distance, even if it was lit. And of course, if you look at the next photo forward, you can turn and see the other direction on the corridor, and even though it's double the distance down the road, you can see that there's a BP station down on the corner of Oak Landon and Fox Road, and they have the traditional pricer sign like I speak of in the pylon, and their pricers are 24 inches in height, and they've got 3 of them. And so with the layout that I have on the monument sign, I've got one 24-inch LED pricer, and then the smaller 12-inch for the diesel, which is still there, but the idea is to have the larger pricer for the regular being the critical part for this corridor, and everyone seeing that and having a visual to make a decision to pull in or not. Obviously, we spoke before. This is all part of people's decision-making on whether they're going to stop there or drive on by looking at the price, and those prices change throughout the week. I'm sure you've seen those change from weekend to weekday, especially a lot recently. So then going through the photos quickly, you'll see that I'm kind of giving you a vantage point from where the traffic would be flowing towards the fuel center, and we would be between the tree and the fuel canopy with a monument sign there, which would create a much better visual for people to make a decision and to provide something that is not such a demeaning sign as what would be in the tenant panel sign, to give us that opportunity for having something that is not a practical difficulty. And then again, the photo beyond that just shows you as I get closer to the BP side, in just making an example of the corridor, because the corridor is not really filled with a lot of signage. And based on all that's there presently, there really isn't anybody else that's going to be requesting additional signs like I am for this Shell station, because nobody else has the need like we do in present with a fuel center sign like this, which is also why we, downgraded to the monument sign in hopes that, we would share in a mutual compromise of things to create this opportunity for this and not see it as a complete, practical difficulty for that. So I gave you some additional photos. One just showing how large the pricers were for the BP. That's a good example of what would normally be if this was not an integrated center, then my pylon sign would have passed all reasonable issues. Without the integrated center and that 300-foot rule, we would have probably been able to get a pylon approved. We're okay with the monument sign. We just don't feel like that tenant panel sign with an 8-inch visual is going to create anything other than a difficulty that we're explaining. And you can see the close-ups of the tenant panel sign with the one blank space that we're talking. And I showed how I'd measure those just to give you an example that it's a 14-inch viewing window. And then also I wanted to point out the fact that I've got, two tenant panel signs, one over here and one down there, but they're both not lit. I was there well after dark. It was 9:30 at night, still not lit. So by having their price sign in the monument, they control the maintenance of it, they control the function of it, and it means that they're going to have full use of it and full benefit of it. Whereas with these tenant panel signs and being predominantly for retail that might even be closed at that time of night, they might close at 9 or they may close earlier. So depending on the retail establishment. So this is very much different than any other situation that we would run into. And that's why that with this in mind, the fact is the tenant panel sign and the 300-foot separation standard is in fact the practical difficulty here. So, and again, just to touch on it, it's not a real cluttered corridor. It ends on Oak Landon and into the Holy Cross Lutheran Church, and then going the other direction, it's going more towards residential. So there's not a lot there visually that's going to create a lot of clutter, even with our monument sign. So I feel like it's going to, one, benefit everybody for making better decisions, especially if they're new to the area. But two, it's not going to be visual clutter. It will be something that will be well represented and desired, as well as can be expected. So.
Okay, it has been 10 minutes.
I'm sorry?
It has been 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes for your presentation.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions at this time?
Yes, I wanted to pivot really quickly from visual clutter to safety.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree that you're between two schools?
Yes, I know there's a school and they have a monument sign with an LED digital display over at the school.
And are you, but you agree that your Shell station is between Amy Beverland and the Holy Cross School, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, are you from this area?
No, I'm from the south side.
Okay, because there's a safety history with Amy Beverland that you may not be aware of, that the principal was killed in a vehicle accident.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about clutter and we talk about signage, and signage says, look, 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 I see that as a safety issue, particularly in this area where we have two schools and little kids. We have a lot of activity. So I'm curious if you have put safety concerns into your analysis, because I didn't hear anything about safety.
Actually, the monument sign placement is the same setback as the tenant panel signs. So visually, traveling back and forth, it's not going to impede any visibility for auto and motorists to do that. And the sidewalks on the opposite side of the street than the Shell station, there is no sidewalk on that side. So, you know, pedestrians will be walking on the other side of the highway or the street. So I feel like that safety is always a concern, and that is something that I brought up last time, in that the visibility and the access to that information is critical for them making a decision when they're going one way or the other to exit to the turn lane at that other intersection over by Goodwill, or if they're, you know, coming the other direction. It's just going to allow a greater safety factor having that as opposed to something really small in place of that. But it's not going to create any additional hazard in safety by being the same setback as the tenant panel sign.
But you already have a sign on the business.
No. As
So
far as,
The variance is to have an additional sign less than 300 feet from the original sign. Am I wrong?
No,
That's
it's from-
correct.
Yeah.
We're asking for the Pricer sign to be in that location, the same location that we discussed with the pylon.
Okay. And you also advertise your prices on Google's and the price apps too, right?
I'm not familiar because I'm not the property owner, the station owner. I'm sure they do. I mean, social media or apps and things like that are broadly used, but that doesn't replace a lot of individuals that don't use that.
Sure.
There's a lot of motorists that don't use that. So the idea is having that sign placed there gives them the visual opportunity to make a decision safely to exit or not, and it also bypasses that technical difficulty in having an 8-inch Pricer in that tenant panel sign. And for me, seeing that larger sign at eye level in a vehicle and versus trying to locate an 8-inch Pricer elsewhere, whether it's day or night, it's going to be much safer in choosing that. And it's also what they're accustomed to all around the country, in either seeing this monument type or a pylon sign when they're looking for fuel center pricing.
Well, and you agree, and people have like the Shell rewards cards, so sometimes there's just customer loyalty as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but I'm not understanding where you're going with this as far as
I think you do.
safety is concerned.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Why couldn't it not be put on the awning, the overlay, the price up there instead of on the ground?
Could be.
Shell does not allow Pricers to be on the canopy. That is a state or a regulation nationwide for Shell locations, and believe me, that would be a consideration if it wasn't different than most. But there again, it's really in the monument sign, even as opposed to the pylon sign. It's creating that safety standard and ability to make a decision, and it's not creating the practical difficulty that we're really standing on as far as having to be in a tenant panel sign that is. So it's not an easy visual. I mean, most people driving to a location like that, they're looking at a tenant panel sign and they're
Well,
not
also-
really able to read all of it easily.
I understand what you're saying, but I also understand what she's saying. You got a school, you've got buses, there is a lot of traffic up there, and there is a lot of trouble up there with Amy Beverlin and all the cars and all the different schools,
It's a
so.
busy area.
Hmm?
It's a very busy area. It's 2 schools because
Two.
the Lutheran schools.
Does the board have any other questions at this
I
time?
do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, I was confused as well, because you kept saying "we," but you are not affiliated with the business, the gas station, right?
I am the installer for the signage.
Signs, okay. So the owner of the gas station, does that owner also own the property, the real estate on which it sits?
No.
So he's renting, did he build it, or you go, as a franchisee of Shell, you go in there, let Shell come in and build it, or how does that work?
It's a partnership between the oil company and the store owner.
Okay.
And that's how it is all across the country, because, you know, it takes a joint effort to be able to create the location and supply the fuel. And so, yeah, it's,
Okay, so then that's my concern, is because when he bought the parcel, he saw that main sign that was sitting there. It's easy to see it's not going to accommodate the kind of signage you're talking about needing to have now. And they didn't address it. They didn't address it apparently with the property owner. Shell didn't make an issue of it. So I'm trying to figure out how we have gotten to this point when it could have been addressed early on and a solution found.
somebody approved building permits,
Well, they approved the building permits, but the owner.
knowing that it was a fuel
Shell.
center is my point, is all I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah, Shell did. But I mean, they could have, when they were like scouting locations and everything. Have you talked to the owner of the property to see if they could, and I don't know, staff would have to address it, but to see if there's any way they could take the existing sign and maybe work within that, give you a little bit more space, do something that would give you more space?
That really wasn't anything that I'm involved in, and it hasn't been discussed because every tenant in there is, and oftentimes those tenant panels are part of their lease, so they have an obligation to hold that space for those tenants.
Right.
I don't know the particulars of that tenant panel sign. That's, my job is to present, you know, the signage and request approval of the signage. But as far as what was brought up from the landowner and the tenant panel signs, I have no involvement in that, so I don't have a lot of answers for you in that regard.
I'm just kind of amazed that this issue wasn't addressed when they were looking at leasing this property and developing this property, because obviously the sign with the price is pretty important for a gas station. I drive down the street, I look, and especially when you got a BP down there, who has the cheaper price? If it's a penny or 2 pennies in this day and age, I want to save. So that's why I don't understand you. I don't know whether it might have been done intentionally and then come back and ask for forgiveness from the city. I don't know whether they, you know, I just don't know what's happening here. But it does look like this is being placed on a corner, am I right? The sign? The new sign?
On the corner of their lot, yes.
Okay, on the corner, which is a better signage position than being placed on the main sign, which sits in the middle front of the parcel. So if you can get the corner, then you've got two directional traffic. So again, and it's not, I realize you were here doing your job and everything. So I don't know whether somebody tried to maybe game the system a bit, or maybe.
Again, it's the size of the tenant panel that restricts this in such a way that becomes a safety issue for visibility, as well as just overall function for a fuel center that was approved to build there, and we're, you know, trying to make a compromise from the pylon sign to the monument to appease everyone.
You've done a nice job in the presentation tonight, by the way, so I don't.
I think Renee will have some answers. I have some questions for her
Yeah, oh,
in reference to the sign, so.
I was just
Any-
trying to play him a little compliment, so.
No, you're right. I agree with what,
Thank you very much.
that is a big part. Go
Yeah, I was
ahead.
just coming, yeah, because we were here the last time, and the issue was the pylon sign.
Yes.
The last time,
Yes.
and then you came back with the,
got a new panel.
with this sign here versus that, and trying to find some middle ground. And I know I'm like too, when I travel, I'm used to looking for the pylon sign, because particularly in this day's markets, we're all trying to find the best price, right? And, you know, and we talked about, you know, integrated signs would be ideal, but in this sign, there's really no space on there. It's more of a hazard of trying to find a gas price, an integrated sign versus a monument versus the pylon. So So I thank you for what you
I mean,
presented today. And my children go to Amy Beverly, so I get that traffic, it's a challenge there. So I understand that piece of it, so, but,
Absolutely.
you know,
mean,
if I had to choose, I
safety's
would
at
have
the
wanted an
forefront of
integrated
everything.
piece there, you know. We can
And-
argue about whether or not we need another gas station there, but that's another thing, but.
And that's why I feel like the monument sign with the Chrysler in that size, in the location, would actually improve safety in the corridor than having it in the tenant panel sign, because it's going to be more recognizable and allow people to be focused on their driving and not searching for anything like that. Or, I mean, maybe we've all done this, you know, you drive by oh, I was meant to turn there, and I missed it. So, and that's what we're trying to avoid with having that monument sign in place of the 8-inch digit in the tenant panel sign. We want to make sure that safety is part of this equation. It's not anything to be overlooked, for sure. But, and that's why I feel like, you know, approving the monument would improve that, not, you know, deplete any safety standard.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure to call your attention though to the unique safety issue in that specific area.
I'm sorry, would you?
That's just, I wanted to at least point out the unique safety, the history.
I appreciate
of
that. Yeah, thank
to give
you.
some
No,
context.
and I was, you know, looking at the corridor and everything. I mean, noticing the schools, obviously, it's very important.
It really is. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions at this time? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any remonstrators for or against the petition? Seeing that there's none, we will hear from the City of Lawrence.
Good evening, Renee Raffla, Director of Public Works. We were here last month and we talked about the big pylon sign and that it was only going to be 161 feet from the existing integrated center sign. I want to address a couple of issues that Mark brought up about the BP sign that's on the corner, on the opposite corner. That's City of Indianapolis. That's a boundary. We're the south side and he's the north side. And that BP gas station is not in an integrated center. An integrated center is designed to have one sign to avoid clutter. That's the whole purpose of it. The code specifically says that you have to have a 300-foot separation between the signs to avoid that visual clutter. We spent a bunch of money putting in a safe pedestrian bridge. We spent millions of dollars to put that bridge in so that we could get the kids from the neighborhood to Emmy Beverland and to Holy Cross safely. And you're right, Faith, having visual clutter in that school area is a big concern of ours. They say BP doesn't allow the signs on their fueling canopies. Why? Walmart does it. Sam's Club does it. There's always cars in their parking lot. Nobody's skipping their parking lot. It's based on pricing. And I agree, putting the fueling in the integrated center sign probably isn't a good idea, but they didn't even ask the property owner, which they leased this lot from, to relocate that sign. Goodwill doesn't have a freestanding sign. They've got one on their building. Put your sign on your canopy. There is a solution that does not involve going against the standards that have been established for the safety of our community. This new sign is better. It's a monument sign. It is a good compromise if you feel that a sign within 160 feet of another sign is an appropriate variance to make. We're not going to make a recommendation on that. We're going to leave that up into the very capable hands of the board. I just want to point out there are other solutions and that maybe weren't considered.
My question to you would be, you know, my favorite thing is signs. The brightness, you know, we have a standard here in Lawrence that we have asked all.
This isn't really considered EVMS,
Okay.
which is what we have, all those commitments that we've done for the last 10, 15 years, however long it's been now. So that wouldn't really, they
Okay.
can adjust the brightness on this sign too, on the monument sign or the pole sign, or the pylon sign,
Okay.
sorry. Karen, you had a question about during the building process. Before this project was ever released for construction, we, me, the mayor, our economic development, our chief of staff, met with the owner of this business and told him this was not an appropriate place for a gas station, that it was not going to work in this space. Zoning allows the gas station. Zoning allows, it's a C4 use, you're allowed to have a gas station in a C4 use. They insisted that this is where they wanted the gas station. The sign usually isn't part of your building plan and your site plan. That comes later in the project. When they applied for it, it was denied. It's not within 300, it's not 300 feet away. It isn't allowed. So I feel like, yes, they thought, oh, well, we'll just do it and ask for forgiveness or ask for an exception to the rules, knowing that the development standards was not going to allow this from the very beginning. So I appreciate the time, and I am absolutely here to answer any questions you may have in addition to that. But we're not comfortable recommending approval of this.
Does the board have any questions for him? Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
Petitioner, do you have any further comments? You get 5 minutes.
I can't speak on behalf of the owner or the property owner in their conversation because I was not privileged to any of that information. So I'm here today to present the monument in such a way that does in fact provide safety and a compromise. For whatever reason that Shell does not allow, and it's Shell that does not allow canopy pricers. It's just their corporate standard that they don't do that. So therefore I have limited things to work with. And so I presented the monument to show that it could be in place, not be an extreme risk for anyone, and to hopefully avoid people making quick decisions in driving that corridor. So if we're going to talk about safety, we need to consider, you know, people that are driving too. But obviously, with what is in place, the and I will say, I have been in variance meetings with Indy, who has the property across the street. I don't know anything about that property. I know Guy Station's over there. They have 2 monument signs. They have 2 tenant panel signs. And then, of course, the BP's on the corner, so maybe they're not part of an integrated center. I don't know. But in another property, I had the same situation where we were allowed a BP pylon sign on a property that was an integrated center, and we had 2 signs, so we added the 3rd sign. A little different geography there, but still, it was permitted. And I don't feel like there's any more lack of safety in that regard because of that. Now, this being a monument sign, we've taken that down. It's much smaller, but it's still a visual that will assist in helping everyone make decisions, safe decisions in utilizing the corridor. And the fact that the fuel center's there, that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. The board have any questions for the petitioner? Okay, thank you. Any remonstrators? Okay, the board now will be voting on 26 LSV 09-11711 Fox Road. Request a variance of development standard of the City of Indianapolis signed ordinance to permit the installation of a new pylon sign. The proposed sign will be 161 feet from the existing integrated center sign, 300 feet required.
Can you please clarify that we're approving for a monument sign, not a pylon sign? That was the original
I will.
application.
Let me correct it. It's to permit for a monument sign instead of a pylon sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. The board has voted 4 to deny and 1 to grant. The petition has been denied. We'll go on to new business. 26 LUV 11, 6420 Oak Landon Road. Request a variance of use of table to permit an art gallery/studio. The property is zone D5, where such use is permitted only in a C1 zoning district. Who's here to, please step up to the mic. State your name, address.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Alice Battis, and I reside at 11425 Kayak Court, Indianapolis. Thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate this opportunity to request this variance so that I may open up an art gallery and art studio. This is my first time making a presentation, so excuse my nervousness or inexperience. My proposed use of this art studio and gallery, I'm hoping for the opportunity for art appreciation, inspiring growth, and creativity for the individual, but also for Lawrence, the greater community as a whole. Primarily, my initial focus will be on the studio to be a 3D and a 2D art, meaning sculptural and functional ceramic art, oil and watercolor paintings, paper and drawings. I have studied art all of my education through elementary and through secondary college and after post-college. I've studied nationally and internationally. I've taught ceramics at the Indianapolis Art Center for over 20 years, and I've taken numerous classes at the Art Center for painting and various other other medium as well. In addition, I've also traveled the country going to different ceramic workshops and conferences. My mission, hopefully, and vision is to expand it to include other medium, such as jewelry, fabrics, woodworking, and mixed media exhibits. And as well, to eventually offer private lessons and small workshops, small group workshops in the future. But initially, I just want to get the studio up and running so that we can appreciate, hopefully, art and hopefully have a chance to give back and inspire others by enhancing and serving the city of Lawrence through art, promoting general art enjoyment and education. So this is my reason to be here and asking for this variance. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I looked on the map and I see the location,
Yes.
and I'm trying to remember what business was in there before.
Hairdos. I have
Okay. I would like you. It's like, okay, I know
So
this
I know
sounds.
this area very
Yeah.
well, but.
Yeah, the site map shows that directly across the street is the Paper and Palette Studio, art
I
gallery,
see.
and art classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that as far as the street and the businesses there along, it would further enhance, hopefully, that experience of offering art education and art enjoyment for the community.
Are you leasing, you buying?
Purchasing.
You're purchasing, okay.
I currently have a home studio up at Feather Cove 2, but I'm wanting to expand to broaden it out to, when COVID hit, the Indianapolis Art Center had to close, like so many other places. And I was not able to teach the semester of 2020, the spring semester. Plus, with my mom's failing health, I had taken myself off of the semester schedule. And then when COVID happened and everything retransitioned and everything changed, as you know, to some degree, I did not resume teaching and have been trying to collect myself through the grief. And now I'm ready. It's been several years since my mom passed, and my dad and my mother-in-law.
What will your business hours be? What kind of traffic are you looking at?
Initially, I'm not looking at much traffic at all. It'd be more of a gathering for former students to get reacquainted. This obviously is not in the Broad Ripple area, so I'm not sure where the students would be drawing from my former classes. But initially, I would be looking at very similar to the hours at the Well-Beings, Melissa's herbalist building, which is right beside, and also Tammy's has limited hours as well, Tam's Cafe. So I'd be looking at very few hours initially, just to kind of allow myself first to get the studio up and running. But it would be in tandem with what their hours would be, which would be a couple of hours, maybe a 4-hour time slot, a couple of days a week. Hopefully getting to like a first Friday where there'd be a gallery opening, and I'm hoping to get not just national artists, but known artists, maybe internationally, to come and exhibit, do art talks, kind of like a traveling book show, book tour, but an artist tour where they show their work and they talk about their wares. But that would be down the road. So initially, my actual opening hours would be very limited to maybe less than, say, about 6 hours in the first few months until I get going. And then when I can get the studio operating, I can add classes. And then a class typically is about a 3-hour session. You could have as many as 12 in a classroom for hand building. If it's ceramics, maybe 6 to 10 people if it's a painting class. So it really depends. But I don't see in the immediate future that there would be more than, say, half a dozen people a couple of times a week is what I'm seeing.
Okay, thank you.
So what exact times are we thinking?
Usually the afternoon classes are the more popular, but then, say, for example, I taught at the Art Center from 9 to 12, but I'm thinking more of a 1 to 4, and with the gallery opening being more like 4 to 8, or at least try to catch that evening hour where people are commuting and, oh, maybe I'll stop in here, see what's new. So that would be, there would not necessarily be late hours. The Art Center in Broad Ripple did have classes until 10 o'clock or 9:30, I think it was. But I'm a little old. I'm not going to be scheduling those kind of hours for myself, nor do I see me hiring any teachers at this time. So maybe the weekends would be afternoons or some mornings for people who are employed. But really, I'm looking more for the mid-afternoon to early evening.
Okay. And then as far as your private lessons, would those kind of be around the same time, or how would that work?
That, I think, would depend if there are a lot of children or students who don't have time because of sports and they would need a flexible schedule. Then because of one-on-one, I can allow a little bit more flexibility. And you don't usually need as big of a time slot for a one-on-one.
And also, you refer to yourself as old. You're not old. You're wise. Just wanted to throw that in there.
A little bit of experience there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So I don't see in here, how many parking spaces come with this building?
12.
Okay, 12, and you will own those yourself?
Yes, that's part of the property.
And I can't wait to see your art store. I
Thank
love
you.
art. I have a house filled with art, all kinds of media, so.
I think that's one reason my husband's cheering this on, because he wants to get it out of our house. Every time I came back from a conference or a meeting, I came back with, not another piece of, yeah. So, thank you for that. I'm excited to share the art that I see. I think ceramic art is greatly underappreciated, or at least it doesn't have the opportunity. You do see pottery a lot, but this is sculpture. We're talking, maybe lamps, fountains, and figurative work, wall hangings. Sculptural art, especially ceramic art, just isn't seen as much as 2D painting art. For one, there's more wall space than there usually is floor space in a house, so you do see a lot more 2D art. That's why I'll like to feature both, but hopefully I will include jewelry and fabrics like felting and other things, just because I like it all. I do it all.
Any other questions?
I guess just to add the historical context, at this small stretch, basically between, well, it was the CVS, now it's the Dollar Tree.
Mhm.
Between there and the railroad track, like the railroad park, historically, we've granted a lot of variances in that area, because it's a unique.
Yes.
It's a uniquely shaped
Yes.
parcel, and it's a unique neighborhood, so there's a lot of unique things. I mean, I would almost wonder if this area should get rezoned at some point.
True.
The area might need to get rezoned at some point, but.
My concern would be, she didn't present a business plan, so we don't have any idea
The traffic.
the
I
traffic
agree,
and
traffic would be-
hours and, because normally on variances, we always set it up so that, yeah,
Could we, and I don't know, but could we have, continue this?
yes.
So that she can meet with our staff and work out that? You understand what she's talking about?
I'd be happy to offer a business plan. I did not have one presented because at this point, I still need to consider the space and figure out what size class could be where. I'm thinking the two different mediums being the painting and ceramic being the principal ones. So until I got into the property and see how big it is, then I would know, okay, I can have a class of 2, I can have a class of 4 or 6. But given my experience, I know I'm not planning on working a lot of hours myself. And I've been an entrepreneur for 45 years. My husband and I, Dave, had a business on Shadeland Avenue for 45 years, and we just sold it a year ago. So I'm not really wanting to get in the saddle and commit to a huge block of, say, teaching 7 days a week.
Right.
Yeah, I have a-
So
But
that's
I
why
think
don't
if you
really
met
have
with
a business
Renee
plan.
and the city, you can go like, the building will be open from like 8 to 8, or noon to 8, or just some type of, we have an idea of
Right.
what's going to be there, and so does the community, so that we can be consistent. And I believe all the variances, Renee, am I correct, that have had some kind of stipulation on them? I believe, Heather, you had, okay.
If I may say something, it sounds like,
Step up to the mic. Were you sworn in?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry,
Did
yes,
you?
yes.
Okay.
It's my understanding, I think her hours are gonna be less than mine, and was Monday through Saturday at my height of, on the road for 22 years. And I do believe, we did not interfere with the traffic flow, and I would have 4 hairdressers, including myself, and each of us would have a client in there, so we have 8 people. And it worked out pretty darn nicely, and I know Tam across the street has been utilizing Morco's parking spaces for some of her employees. So I think everybody in the area, they all kind of work together.
Right, but we'd
Um,
like to
yeah.
just have a business plan.
Exactly,
to-
and I have loved being on Oak Landing Road. My vision 22 years ago was to see it become the kind of community that it's coming. My only problem is that I'm gonna leave and she's gonna be there, and now I wanna be there too with her being there. So I think her traffic pattern is probably not gonna be all that obtrusive to the other community that's going on. I've been on that road for I don't know how many years. I can tell you the
Long
train
time.
schedule. I can tell you when the buses come. I know when my clients are gonna run late because the train tracks are backed up or buses are. So it's been a pleasure to be on the road, and I love watching the little things come along. I don't know why my building was never zoned for C1 usage when everything around it is either already zoned or the herbalist on the south side
Right,
of me.
Melissa.
And I'm gonna say, I feel bad that I don't know if she got a variance to open her shop
She
up
did.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a feeling
I
she
knew,
did.
yeah, I've got a lot of wisdom on the board. So, yes, I'm
So,
participating in that way.
In regards to the operating hours, when I spoke to Melissa and I saw her hours, that's what I was thinking of doing, where she has by appointment for like the gallery. I may have by appointment times for people who couldn't make the few select hours. I think she's 3 days a week, a
Yeah,
couple
I-
hours.
I-
Okay.
I'm the one that's there in the evening time. I start at noon and I'll work till 8 o'clock at nights. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I start at 9 in the morning and work till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So my hours have been varying, but everybody's left me because of COVID and retirement and all this stuff. So I figured it was time for me to pack up and find somewhere else to go.
Okay, thank you.
I have a
Karen?
question.
I have a question. Oh,
If a continuance is granted, how long does a petitioner have to bring those materials to
To the next meeting.
the next meeting? Okay.
Yeah, or she can ask for a continuance. Again, we ask, anybody can make a motion.
Sure.
Need a second? We can make it with notice or without notice. Usually with notice is best, in case someone couldn't be here or is here and not going to speak tonight.
I wanted to catch her before she left the mic. So do you have a variance so your hair salon can be operating?
October or August 7th of 2007.
Yeah.
And so you have, and that's for what level use is your variance for?
I think it is C1.
Renee could speak to that.
Okay.
You know what, my husband sent me the email, we had to go to downtown Raleigh to verify our variance because Lawrence lost ours. So I think it was during your transition.
Heather, you need to step up and be on the mic.
Yes, we have had a variance, we had to have permits to have the parking lot put in.
Yeah.
So we've had it for about 18 years, I guess. And I can get copies of that if you need it.
No, she can just work with the city of Lawrence, Renee, and then,
Well, when we found out that we had to go downtown to get our variance, Lawrence told us, I forget the girl's name in the office, that I didn't have a variance. I had been working with one, and we had. It's been verified. I found it. Okay, thank you. Okay, is that it?
Well, I have one question. Has the sale already gone through, or is the sale contingent on this variance?
It's contingent.
On the variance.
See, because I wonder if we could give.
Can your sale wait
if we
another
could give
month?
her a-
I'm sorry?
10 days to
Can your
produce that.
Okay,
yeah, but we're not meeting in 10 days.
Yeah, or do you have a closing date for the sale?
Yes, the 28th.
Of this
Of
month?
what?
The 28th of July,
Oh, yeah.
Next week.
next Tuesday.
Let's hear from the city of Lawrence.
But you need the variance to close on the property, or no?
That was a contingent on the purchase agreement.
Okay.
Is there any demonstrators for or against the petitioner? Renee?
Thank you.
No, ma'am, just have a seat. You can come back up in a minute.
Renee Rafflo, Director of Public Works. This property is currently zoned D5, and the use proposed is only allowed in a C1. However, we feel that this use does fit into the comprehensive plan and the vision that the city has for this corridor. As you stated earlier, from CVS, Dollar Tree, all the way to the tracks, there's a lot of mixed use in there, a lot of walkable businesses. And that is the vision. It's a village use is what they reference it. And our gallery is consistent with that village mixed use. They're usually considered a low-impact commercial use, generate limited traffic, noise, and outdoor activities compared to other uses. So we don't feel it'll be much more of an impact than what Hairdo's was. It is expected to operate primarily during normal business hours with limited customer traffic. It doesn't involve manufacturing, outdoor storage, heavy equipment, or activities that would create or cause excessive noise, odors, lighting, or other typical impacts associated with a more typical C1 use. I'm comfortable recommending approval without a business plan,
Okay.
just because of the typical hours for an art studio or a gallery, or even if she were to do education. Those hours aren't going to be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, where it's making a big impact on a neighborhood. And there's not a lot of residents in this area. It is mostly business. Behind the main corridor of Oak Landon Road, you've got residences. But most of the actual structures on that stretch have converted into some type of commercial use. With that being said, though, I would recommend that we do a commitment that it be to this petitioner for this use only. And that controls it for future use if she sells it, just like with Heather selling. The board gets to hear what the proposed use is and make a decision on if that's appropriate for our community.
Excellent
So I think
idea.
that would be a very appropriate response of the board to request that commitment. It would be in writing, it would be recorded as part of the deed of the property. So,
And so this has a C1 variance on this property already, so basically what we're doing?
No, no.
Oh, it does not?
so see, art gallery requires a C1, a hair salon does not. That's,
Really?
yeah. So
It
you
can,
can,
so it can operate in a D5?
no, they had to have a variance. They had a variance back in 2007
And so what was,
for, specifically for hairdos to operate
in a
in
C1?
a dwelling.
Oh, in a dwelling,
district.
okay.
So, but it was specific to hairdos and Heather and Michael
Okay.
specifically. So anybody who buys this property, if they want to do something other than live in it, is going to have to come before you.
But wouldn't that have still been a variance of the use standards, even though it was a
Yes, ma'am.
residential?
Back in
So-
2007.
2007, so I'm just trying to figure, what was the variant, oh, just for variance of use?
Right, because it didn't fit within D5.
Yeah, okay.
So you can have like a home
A home salon.
hair salon with one booth.
Yeah.
She has, like she said, 4 stylists plus herself, so it was a little more intense than a dwelling use.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So, okay.
were there any other questions from the board for me?
Does the board want to vote to, well, we have to hear from the petitioner. Do you have any other,
Yes, I just wanted to say regarding the business plan, I was not prepared, I was not knowing that that would be necessary. Again, I was thinking more of the private studio opening and getting it running and then addressing it. My goal is to always have it a small group, just because I have taught classes of 12 at the Art Center for 20 years. That's a lot of names for me to keep straight, so I'm thinking more of, small intimate groups, which allows for more growth for each artist, each participant. But as far as my personal use of the place, of the property, which is gorgeous, by the way, it's a gorgeous building, I hope you all can come in and see it, which I think lends to being a gallery, is for me to work on my art and then be able to grow the business as a gallery by bringing in other artists' work. So my hours there would vary greatly, but the public would be reduced to just a few viewing hours. I hope that clears that up.
Do you have any, so it's been discussed about you entering into a commitment where this variance would go just to you? And so if you go to sell the property, if the new owner wants to step into your shoes, they can't, they have to come back to the city. Would
That
you
I-
have any objection to doing that?
No, I do not at this time, no. I understand it's not a rezoning, it's just a variance of use for me to use as an art gallery and studio for me.
And what was your shop on Shadeland? I'm just
We
curious.
were in wholesale. We supplied movie theaters the popcorn and candy. Indiana Concession Supply.
Oh,
okay.
Should have brought some.
Yeah, yeah. No, I started by selling tickets at at his parents' indoor theater in Muncie, Indiana. We're from Muncie. And then we just stayed in the theater business. But I thought it was going to be temporary for me, and I was going to do art. But now is my chance, after
Okay.
45 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody for or against it has a few minutes to speak if they want to. If not, does the board want to do a continuance to hear a business plan? Or do we want to go with the commitment to this petitioner and use only and vote on it?
I would go with the city's recommendation to do the commitment
Okay.
that follows the business.
So do we have to amend the petition to do that? Okay.
You just need to make it part of the record that that's the commitment, and I'll give her paperwork to file.
Is that what the board wants to do? Go ahead and vote?
Yes.
Okay. The board will be voting on 26 LUV 116420 Oak Landon Road. Request a variance of use to permit an art gallery studio, and it would be, the commitment would be for this petition and use only, petitioner and use only.
Which one is this one? 11. Did I give 11 to you already?
Right. I don't have 11. Did I give you 11 already? I don't
I
have
must have
11.
given you 11 already.
I don't think, s-
Mine was simple.
9. Mine were too.
Oh, this is post,
Was yours
wait a
not-
minute.
Was yours not collated?
yeah,
Oh, I got different ones on this
Cross it
one.
out. We already do.
9,
Or is that-
oh, 11, 11.
Okay.
So just cross out the one I have.
okay. What did I,
Yeah, you did,
If they use the wrong ballot, just have them mark the petition.
Yeah.
An initial.
Initial.
yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
and the one already?
Yeah, yeah, if they used the wrong ballot for the last petition, have them sign what they,
Yeah, just cross it out.
Okay,
Cross this one out here.
did it.
Cross 9 out? Right. No, that's not me. That's me right there.
Let me fix mine too.
So what was the,
Me.
what
You
was
can't
the?
read that same.
It's 26 LUV 11.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so fix that one, and then we're gonna make this one
and
11.
then switch the other one and do
Yeah.
the same thing, please.
Gotcha.
Okay. This one is for
9.
9. This one's for 11. Now I'm back on track. Oh, sorry.
Make sure you look at them. Yeah.
What's about myself, so I don't feel too bad. Thank you.
Oh, I get 2 pins.
Yeah, you take on my toe.
I know.
Thank you.
You have nice pins.
You got your,
This is the good one.
what do you mean I can keep it?
Ma'am, the board has unanimously granted your petition, and welcome to the community.
That's right.
The board now will hear 26 LUSV 12, 5405 North Post Road. Request a variance of use from the Fort Harrison Mastery Reuse Implementation Plan to allow a multifamily development project in an area designated for light industrial use. The project will meet the development standards outlined in the City of Lawrence zoning subdivision ordinance D8.
I've known your name, I don't think I knew what you did, that's why.
Okay, that's
I see that, makes sense. You would carry down there, I said.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Greg Mustrick, and this is my colleague, Luke Loffenberg. We're with Woda Cooper Companies. Woda Cooper Companies, we are an employee-owned company. We develop, construct, manage affordable housing developments. We own and operate around 17,000 units and over 375 properties throughout 19 states. We have developed everything from single-family subdivision, multifamily, 3-4-story buildings, townhome developments, and adaptive reuses of old schools and warehouses. We own all of our developments, and we don't sell them, so we don't come in, buy something, build it, and then flip it to somebody else. We're long-term property owners. So we're building our developments to a very high standard because we're going to continuously own the properties. We also look to build long-term partnerships with the city because of this to ensure that we have a good relationship with city officials and staff as we continuously operate the developments. We are here tonight in regards to our proposal for Benjamin Townhomes. Benjamin Townhomes is a 30-unit townhome development. It's 2 stories with 15 2-bedroom units and 15 3-bedroom units. Included in that design are 4 live-work units. The development will include, and I can kind of show you here and kind of go along with our partnership with the city. We've been working with the city and the Fort Harrison Reuse Authority on kind of going back and forth in regards to the design of our site plan and concept. And so what we've come up with and working with them is putting our townhomes and the community building along the road frontage, along North Post Road and Harrison Park Drive. Our live-work units are adjacent to our community building, which will be right here on the corner, and on each flanked on each side by the live-work units. And then the rest of the townhome units will be spread throughout the development. We will have a playground, a picnic area with grill, a fenced-in dog park. The units themselves will have open, floor plans and with energy-efficient windows and LVT flooring. The community building itself will feature a property management office, supportive service office, common laundry, community room, and fitness center for the residents' use. Over here, we have what the property will look like on the frontage of Harrison Park Drive and also along North Post Road. These are the elevations here, and you can kind of see the community building and then what the live workspace will look like from the exterior.
So this building along here will be on North Post Road, and you can see the live work buildings. So that will be a little space for residents to use to run as a business that will front the road. Again, making it in that walkable area, we believe it will connect through the fort throughout. And this was, we were in touch with Russell Brown and the Fort Reuse Authority, and they really wanted to see these live work units. So we've taken that into consideration with this development here. And then we've been in touch with Greg Goodnight as well in the city, and he really wanted to see a commercial look on this street coming through, along with other businesses there as well. So that's where we thought we could pull in these live work units along with big windows, pull up the community building on that corner as well to kind of give a dense commercial look on that frontage.
And one of the unique things with this property too, with the history of the fort, we have a longstanding partnership with HVAC of Indiana. So we're looking to reserve at least 6 units for veterans and partner with HVAC to provide supportive services for those veterans if they need it. I'm happy to answer any questions about our development or our company.
I just want to start off just by commending you all for the work you've done. I've worked with you all in other capacities, and it's always been great work, and thank you for the support you have for our veterans.
Yeah, thank you. And thank them too.
Absolutely.
Do you have approximate price points for these units?
I do. So we're looking at for the net rents that we have right now for the 2-bedroom units will range from $515 to $1,400. And for the 3-bedroom units, we would be around $595 to $1,645.
That's a big gap.
Yeah, so we utilize the rental housing tax credit program. So we want to ensure that we have different rents at different levels to be affordable to individuals with different incomes in the community.
So how many of each do you have those, like the 595 and? the-
Yes, so we have, so for instance, for the units that are for the 2 bedrooms, we have 3 of the units at the 515 level, and then we have 5 units that will be around $1,010, and then we have 7 units that will be at the 1,400 level. And
Those
for
are specifically 2-bedroom units.
yeah, and for the 3 bedrooms, at the 595, we have three units. 4 units will be at 1,170, and we will have 8 units at $1,645.
Okay, I do have quite a few questions. I like the idea of live and work. Okay, but what kind of businesses can go in there?
So it'll be based on the zoning itself, but we've developed this type of concept in other areas too. So we'll have little creative studios, whether it's, artist studios for painting or photography. Someone who may be starting a business and they need a place to live and then kind of start their business. And let's see, we also have like little wellness, like hair massage, like a one-person hairdresser or someone who has a massage or business that, helps people with stretching and things like that. So it's kind of a, very, I guess, limited traffic type of businesses, but
Nothing that
it's,
causes noise or smell, anything from that sort.
yeah, the workspace is going to be around 630 square feet for the residents. And so we've had great success with it. I think it adds, an opportunity too for someone who may be starting a business to come in and have a place to start that business in a great, mixed-use area of the city. And they'll have great, visibility too from the road as well.
Okay, I have a question. This is on the Purple Line?
Yes, it is. I believe I think it's the Purple Line.
And when we talk about these live-work units, how would a member of the public enter the commercial space?
So we have,
We'll have the city walk coming down integrated, so they'd come down off of North Coast Road. So the purple line you're talking about is right up here, correct?
Okay.
And then they could walk crossing Harrison Park Drive.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, we had to go through like a lot of information about how they're redoing the Purple Line. And where's parking?
parking is all on site, and it's in here. So we tried to put the buildings around the site so the parking would not be visible.
Yeah, that's the Purple Line stuff.
What's that?
The Purple Line wants the parking in the rear.
Yeah.
So is that residential only, or that's also commercial?
This will be,
All
so this is
residential.
all residential development, and then we have the 4 live work units right here.
So the live work units will be integrated into units. So on
Yeah.
the first floor, they'll have their workspace and they'll connect up into a unit.
But where's the parking for those?
Yeah,
In the center here, all throughout.
Back there where all the
It's more
people
gonna
live.
be- It's more gonna be walkable business, if somebody comes up.
so it'll be
from Purple
entrance
Line.
on either side?
Yep.
And then
Public
we have
entrance?
and parking here will be mixed throughout, so we're not like reserving these spaces specifically for the commercial businesses right now.
Okay, how many spaces do you have, parking
I
spaces?
think we have around 51 spaces.
51 for 60 apartments?
30
30 apartments?
Yep.
And 4 commercial
Mm-hmm.
outlets?
Yeah, and it's very limited use, so there's not gonna be a lot of traffic, with the commercial space unit.
So do you have restrictions in your lease?
We do, yes, it'll be restricted to, what's allowed in the zoning code, so it's nothing that's high
Nothing above.
intensity use or anything like that.
But you don't have restrictions above what's already approved by us in your lease?
In our lease, no, I think it'll be with the zoning, and then, if there's any issues or things like that, we would have language in the lease where we're allowed to come in and, you know, we'll work with the tenant if there are any issues. And so, yeah.
Okay, I have serious concerns about the amount of parking. Where is, because, I mean, if you got 30 apartments, you have a married couple living in it, that's 2 spots right there. If they have a teenage son that has a car, that's possibly 3. If you got a 3-bedroom and they get 3 adults who are in there together as roommates because they can afford it. So I think, and we'll talk to staff more about the parking requirements when we get there, but I'm very concerned, where would they park if they can't park in the parking lot? Because they can't park on the street because of the purple lines.
So we don't believe, this is not really gonna cause, these types of businesses aren't gonna cause much car traffic. They might even use them as just an office space. You know, we kind of designed it to hit the commercial.
I'm not even thinking about the
Yeah.
visitors. I'm talking about, you said 60 spaces?
Yeah, well,
51 spaces.
51
yeah.
spaces for 30 apartments, a combination of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom, plus the live workspace. I mean, it could be somebody lives upstairs and somebody else uses the office downstairs. So the people living upstairs need a spot to park, and then so does one downstairs.
it would be the person living in the live-work unit, they couldn't lease that.
Sit out?
Yeah,
Somebody
we
else,
can't.
it'd be one.
Okay, okay.
And
See,
I
maybe
was-
that's, so, but
You don't have, you didn't bring a lease by any chance?
No, I didn't.
So if you have then, so my question is, you can't park on, what street is it with the purple line?
Post Road.
Can't park on Post Road because of the purple line. So, when this gets built, somebody decides to have their family over for Christmas dinner, and there's 6 of them, you know, they bring 4 cars and all that type of thing, and it's gonna happen, because that is not near enough spaces. Where are they supposed, where are the overflow supposed to park?
I think but based off of past deals around the area too, based off of parking, Greg, what, you've seen stuff
Yeah,
similar
so-
to this, and we've managed this well, and we haven't had issues.
Yeah, so we have numerous developments where we have, you know, this kind of ratio to parking, which is like 1.5 to 1.7 units per acre of parking spaces per unit. And we really don't have any issues with overflow parking or residents being able to find a parking spot. You know, what I find is I usually go in and I've never had a time where I've gone in and not been able to get a parking spot. So we really don't have a lot of overflow issues, especially with being near the bus line and it's, you know, it's just right there. We don't anticipate having any issues here too.
Where- Where are the apartments now that you have that incorporate all this?
So we have, so the live work units, so we have those in Michigan and Virginia.
None in Indiana?
None in Indiana. We have other apartments. Again, it's kind of all, you know, it's similar concepts in these more dense mixed-use areas in the other states too. But with this development here, you know, we have them in Plainfield, Indiana. We have a townhome senior living unit or property there. We have actually 2 in Plainfield, Indianapolis, Noblesville. We have another townhome development, and in the southern part of the state, we have a few more townhome developments as well.
My other concern is the infrastructure here. We've got the apartment complex that we just, variance. We've got the Keystone property going in that hasn't even started. We've got the senior citizen behind the, and then we
It feels a
have
little
this.
overwhelming.
I'm concerned about the infrastructure here. The traffic down Post Road, it's only 1 lane. When everybody gets into this, and I live here, so I am concerned. All the traffic, all the sewers and all that. That's my concern with this type of project.
We
Yeah.
believe 30 units will not bring that much traffic. We've done similar deals in the same unit range in the past, and we've done traffic studies on it, and like, you can refer to our past, most recent deal we were working on. Under
Yeah,
legal
we're-
requirements, it didn't even consider.
The state requirements for traffic studies, we aren't even hitting like the requirements that would trigger like a traffic study here during peak traffic times. You know, we're not even close to what, you know, would concern traffic in the area. So, you know, we're looking at, 30 to 50 trips per hour during the peak times. And throughout the day, you really don't have much because everybody's gone, they're going to work, and then if they're coming home, that's when you'll have a little bit, going to and from work, you'll have a little bit more traffic issues. But, I think traffic trip-wise, I don't think it'll be a problem for this development. Again, it's 30 units in this area.
Any other questions for the,
Yeah, I'd like a
Go ahead.
clarification. So you are planning on, I don't want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. My math is terrible.
Yeah.
1.5 parking spaces per apartment.
Yeah, I think it comes out to be about 1.7 parking spaces per unit.
Okay. So that means that what you're counting on is that you won't have people with, not every apartment will have 2 people with cars.
And I would, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I would say across the portfolio, since we manage all of our properties and we're at 17,000 units now, we really do take these things in consideration. And if we were having issues with properties, it's already our management companies on us regarding these things. We really do want the community to meet their needs, and just across the whole portfolio through Indiana, through working in Michigan and North Carolina personally. We've done similar ratios with townhomes specifically, and we have not seen problems. And I think too, also having the purple line there as well is a different way of transportation too. And this, I think, attracts being in this walkable area, more of a walkable environment. So families coming in, maybe the families, younger families, a starting place and an affordable place to live in a nice, clean, affordable apartment in a great place like the Fort. So we're thinking more families with maybe younger kids, hence the dog park and the playground. We don't foresee large families with adults with multiple cars coming in, just based off of what we've done in the past through the large volume of fuels.
So, have you looked at the ridership, because Purple Line is coming in, and.
Was here.
Oh, it's here, that's, so have you looked at the ridership of the Purple Line? Because it's my understanding that the other lines have very low ridership, and that's been one of the big criticisms.
Yes.
So I think if you're relying, and maybe I'm not understanding correctly, if you're relying on that Purple Line to relieve the need for parking, I think that may be an overinflated hope.
Yeah, no, not specific. I'm not saying that. I'm saying more the Purple Line and kind of the walkable area of the Fort is just in general kind of more. We can see families coming here with young kids, starter place to live, and it's kind of more. A parent would have 1 to 2 cars at most is what we've seen. And we just believe that this parking ratio has been successful for us, and we have not had issues from a management perspective.
Have you talked to any of the nearby businesses about overflow parking?
So we've talked specifically to Greg Goodnight in the city, and he recommended this parking ratio as well. We have not talked to other people in the community.
Okay, we can talk about
behind us being honest.
And the reason, and I think you heard me, this is always kind of my thing is safety.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big things that we're tasked with is making sure our community is safe.
100%.
Because what my concern is that it's across the street, across Post Road is Lawrence Community Park, which would be the next big available parking area. So the concern would be, for me, that you're gonna have families parking at Lawrence Community Park and then crossing 5 lanes of traffic to get home with small children.
Yeah.
And so that would be the concern. So that was part of why I asked if you talked to, I mean, there's like, I think it's like the autism schools right there, Culver's right, I mean, there's stuff on that side
Yeah.
of the street. Are you doing restrictions on how many parking spots per unit, or?
We just haven't had issues with it in the past. I'm sure we can.
Yeah, from our
Let's
management
imagine you have
side-
a problem.
Yeah.
Let's forget the past and imagine
Yeah.
that this is actually a real issue.
Yeah, and if it becomes an issue, which again, I don't think it will be, we've been very efficient with our building signs and our parking ratios and with the data that we have with our developments, and again, we really don't have issues with this type of parking ratio, but we're open to definitely working with neighbors, surrounding property owners if there's something overflow parking, and we can come up with agreements with them so that we can ensure that, you know, they're not crossing 5 lanes of traffic to get to
Yeah.
the.
We don't want that's not.
And
Go ahead.
And I'm not sure too, and forgive me, I should have checked before I came tonight, if Harrison Park Drive, I don't know if you're allowed to park on that or not, but no, probably not. So,
No.
I was thinking if it was a public street, they could do it there, but, again, I think, you know, again, we're long-term owners, we want to create partnerships with the community, we're open to, working with the surrounding, property owners if there is a need for overflow parking. And I don't think there will be, but we're definitely open to it. You know, we don't want to put residents at risk.
Yeah, and I see this area being built up with more residential, and I think there is definitely a need for more residential spaces. But, yeah, I think safety has to come first, but we have like the nursing home we just approved. And I think that is just a jump away, so,
Is that off of Harrison?
Mm-hmm.
As well?
It's right behind the, it will be,
it's a nursing home / assisted living.
yeah, right behind
Where was that back?
the center and the kidney dialysis place. It's that strip up right behind there.
Yeah, because there's other, I think there would be other options available to you, but we need to
Yeah, well,
ideally not have people cross 5 lanes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, well, we would, of course, evaluate that if that's an issue, and we would work something out, because we will not have tenants.
I'm concerned about I think it's a great idea, the work-live part,
Me too.
but I have a problem with, I think it's a great idea. I like the concept and everything, but, you know, having traffic come in there, you know, a hair place, a massage place, a tattoo place, am I right? What?
Yeah, and it would be like it's not, they're not.
But then
big
again, we got the
space,
1.5.
Yeah, 600,
Yeah.
600 square feet for
That's-
a commercial business is not.
Yeah,
How
it's
would you
not a lot.
regulate that, though?
What's
How would
that?
how would you regulate?
Yeah, that's the part we're not hearing.
How many people would be at a specific residence or the work-live? How can you say, you know, for sure that only one person is gonna be allowed in that space?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know if the city or the state regulates like how many people are allowed in a certain place based on the square footage, but that would be what would regulate that. So, you know, I know with, you know, our leases, we could put that information in there too, to regulate how many people can actually be in that space at one time.
It's the fire marshal.
Fire marshal, yeah, so we'll work with them, abide by those codes to ensure, you know, there's not a ton of people in there. I mean, you know, again, it's a place for, you know, it's a very low traffic business from what we have in our other developments. We don't have a lot of people in that space at one time.
So what's gonna be the zoning on the business part of it? The live-work units, what's the zoning on the business
So,
part?
I think that falls under the D8
The D8.
ordinance that
So,
we're going
so it's
after.
businesses that are allowed under the DA.
D8.
I believe so.
We
And
can talk
is
to them.
Renee, is that correct?
Yeah, that might be a city question.
Yeah, we can
I'm
have-
sorry.
Well, I had one too about the parking too, because isn't that already set by statute that based on the square footage, you have to have X number of spaces?
Exactly,
Right.
yes.
I mean, does this not meet that requirement?
So
Yeah.
we're not looking at development standards of the actual building right now. That will have to be when they submit plans, we'll go through that process. All we're asking for tonight is a variance from the light industrial zoning that it currently is now to allow for a plan to be submitted for development of a D8 project. So if 61, 51?
51 spaces.
If 51 parking spaces doesn't meet the D8 code, they're gonna have to come back before you all and ask for an
Oh,
exception
okay.
to that. If
Yes, maybe we're getting.
the
ahead of ourselves.
proposed business that they wanna put in the live work doesn't meet what's allowed per zoning code, they'll have to come back to you and ask for permission for that business. So we're not getting that deep into the specific development standards. Right now, we're just asking, can they rezone this light industrial property to a D8 to allow for the plans to be drawn up, to be submitted, to be reviewed, and not the specific development standards. That's not what we're asking for tonight.
What
that
about
make
the
sense?
infrastructure?
So they are aware that the city of Lawrence is under an EPA order for wet weather retention on our sanitary sewers. They are aware of that, and that they're gonna have to do their design to accommodate those restrictions that we have. So the developers are aware of that. We've had several conversations with them regarding that issue. So that, again, would be something that we would address through the plan review process of the plans.
And I think too, you know, as we were looking to acquire this property from the fort, one of the main things the fort wanted was to have some commercial along with this residential. So that was one of the stipulations in our agreement with them to buy the property, is that we would include commercial space along with our residential. And so that's one of the reasons too why we are presenting it with the live work concept, is because they wanted to see that as a site was redeveloped.
You said something interesting I've been wanting to go back to earlier. You said this parking plan had been approved by Greg Goodnight. Now, you do realize that.
Not approved.
You said it was suggested. You made a very clear inference, and I just want to make sure you understand that Greg Goodnight has nothing to do with this, our department over here, or with us sitting up here, or the decisions we make. We operate totally independently of that. And so, and I just want to make that very clear.
I understand. If I said approved or.
I know why you threw.
I didn't
I know
mean
why you
anything.
threw the name out there, and
Yeah,
I know why you threw out some of the other names, but I'm just letting you know that we rely on our staff. She's involved, everybody here that's been involved in this is the only one that has actual zoning experience and land use experience on all that. And then
Got the
many
wisdom.
years, yes.
She's got the wisdom.
And the many years that they and these folks have been doing this, so that's,
Oh, yeah. No,
so that's why we're asking these kinds of questions. I would like to know where, you said you had a place in Indianapolis that you were, or had developed?
Yes.
What was it?
Proctor Place.
Where is that?
It's, oh gosh, I think on the west side. I'd have to get my phone to look at the specific location.
So you haven't been there for a while to know?
I have been. I'm based out of Columbus, Ohio, so I don't know all the streets off
So,
the top of my head, but.
So is that the only one in Indianapolis?
No, we are starting construction. It's actually under construction right now, Hodges Commons. And that one is, we're working with the International Marketplace Coalition to develop 98 units of affordable housing with a daycare on that property.
Okay. So, well then, I think like Lou said,
We may be getting ahead of ourselves on some of our
Right.
questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for reeling us back in.
Yeah.
but be
and I-
prepared. But
You know what's coming,
You know it's coming when you get
I would like to say, it is important to us to hear your guys'
Yeah,
thoughts, because you guys are part of the community, so you guys know better than us, especially when we're in the preliminary phase.
And I think
Appreciate all your comments.
when Luke and we were referencing talking with Greg and then you know, with Russell with the fort, it wasn't just drop names. It was to let you know we've been working with them to take input too on, you know, what the community would like to see here as well, and try to design accordingly, because you know we value the community's input as we're designing these. And you know, I think we've come up with a plan. We've gone back and forth on different concepts. You know, in regards to your utilities and water retention, you know, underground storage to collect the stormwater retention on rainfall and things like that before it discharges into the sewer system. We were all taking that into account with our design. Our development will also be LEED Silver certified, so it'll be very energy efficient. That helps residents with their utility costs as well.
Can I ask you a point too, about the price range for the units? Is this going to be income based? How do you?
Yeah, it'll be based on the area median income. So we can rent to individuals who have up to 80% of the area median income.
Thank you.
What is the facade going to be?
So we have on here, it'll be brick and cement fiber siding, a mix between
Which would resemble what that's out there now.
That would also have to be approved through the Port Reuse Authority through the development standards. It's a specific submittal to the Architectural Committee for the
Right.
Reuse Authority and the Historical Society. So we regulate the color of your shingles, the windows you can use, the color of the brick, every single
That is correct, right.
architectural. So
Right.
all of that is very, very,
So it will meet those
Rigid.
standards just like the,
Absolutely.
everyone else?
absolutely. And if they wanted an exception, they would have to ask you.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of regulations in that area, but
Yes.
I see it changing to more and more residential, so, okay. I don't think I have any other questions.
And we try to design the elevations to kind of fit in well with the surrounding area as well and what's been developed there.
Yeah, I like the elevations on this.
Yeah, not 5 feet, or not 5 stories. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
board
yeah,
has
two stories.
no more questions at this time, board?
Yep.
Okay. Is there any remonstrators for or against the petition? Renee, do you want to come up and speak?
Renee Raffalo, Director of Public Works. This property is about 2.3 acres, and they're planning, as they said, a 30-unit live for 4 of the units. Although it is, the property is designated for a light industrial use, it was either last year or the year before, for the property just behind this in Caddy Corner, you all approved a senior affordable housing project. It did not get awarded funding, but I have talked to that developer, and they're applying again for this round. So if you remember, I was trying to remember how many units that had. I think it was 55 units, if memory serves. Don't hold me to that. So we're hoping that gets funded. Our vision for some of these infill properties, the city of Lawrence is along with many communities in the United States, are in housing crisis. We just recently had a task force here in the city that met every single Thursday for a whole year, trying to figure out what to do about the housing crisis specifically here in Lawrence. We have worked with the WOTA team very closely to try to come up with a product that helps us with that housing crisis. It's close to transit. It's affordable housing. So your concerns about parking, if they qualify for affordable housing, they probably are using public transportation. And not necessarily, but we kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at the development standards. And I wanted to stress to you again, if 51 parking spots don't meet the requirement for the number of units, they're going to have to ask for a variance for that. They're going to have to meet the requirements of the D8 zoning, which is what we're asking the board to approve to move forward with this project. They're going to have to address the wet weather sanitary conditions that we have in order to move forward with the project. They'll be applying for the affordable housing tax credits and all of that too. So I think it's a good fit. The design that they're proposing, the amenities that they're wanting to provide, that it's close to transit, I think it's a good fit and a good idea to rezone. Could we wait and develop the property with light industrial, which is what we originally planned? We've been doing this redevelopment of the fort for 20 years. And this is not the first interest, but the first real interest in developing this parcel. And we think it's a good fit to meet our housing crisis and the needs of our community. Were there any specific questions for me?
So all we're doing tonight is granting or denying a variance for the D8 use.
Yes, ma'am.
And that variance will go with this property.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's currently zoned C1 or light?
It's
industrial?
light industrial.
So which is the heavier use, D8 or light industrial?
Well, light industrial is a different type of use. That would be, you could put a warehouse. They could put a warehouse there. Train, the train building with the daycare in it, that's light industrial. That could be a use. They could put a school, could go there. Kind of very similar to what we already have, office buildings, warehousing. And that doesn't really help our housing situation. People want to move to the fort. They want to live here. And the market is proving that. We've got the Benjamin building going in with luxury apartments. We just rezoned some property over off of Lee Road and Memorial Park Drive for some more luxury apartments. We have the senior ones that you guys approved last year going right behind this that are affordable. And then we've got these work units that are going to be affordable too. So I think it gives us a balance of the luxury and the affordable all within the same little area. And that's a good thing for us.
We really need a grocery store in that area.
Yeah.
Can we get a Trader Joe's?
We have been trying. It's, you know,
It's hard, the demand's not here.
yeah, not yet, but
We
once
keep
we
doing
get all
this,
this,
though,
but
we'll- yeah,
once we
doing
get
that,
the
so.
residents here,
Yeah.
you will have the demand for the grocery and the dining and the other things that go with it. If you can get the people,
Yes.
everything follows.
So again, we're just approving this that allows them to submit their plans
And
for
it allows
approval.
the development to meet those D8 standards, which is most appropriate for the number of units that it's the lowest zoning that I could get them for the number of units they wanted.
So are you saying it will meet the parking?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's all part of the plan review process and not part of the variance request for today.
Basically, if they don't meet in any one of the things, they have to come back to us for
Oh,
a
yeah.
variance.
There's a landscaping requirement, there's parking, there's elevation requirements, there's all kinds of checkboxes that they're gonna have to go through.
Okay.
We're not asking for any variances from the checkboxes, just that we can develop it as a D8 dwelling, apartment type living parcel instead of industrial.
So basically what they're turning in is basically like, hey, does this city, will they even allow you to
Correct.
do this?
Correct.
Before we even approve anything?
Right.
Makes sense. Thank
They'll
you.
have to go through the whole process, through stormwater review and approval, architectural, site plan, utilities, all of that. That's all
Perfect.
part of the other part of my job.
Yeah, but if we hadn't have that senior living come in, I think this would be a much harder vote. But we've already grappled with that.
Well, and the
Okay,
senior
yeah,
living one
right.
that you guys approved did not have the parking. If you remember, they had
I
to use the
remember.
parking
Yep.
of the strip center, and they're gonna put in a sidewalk that connects it, so.
Yeah.
I think, I appreciate you guys looking out for the parking, and that's something we'll be definitely making sure.
Because, yeah, it's, yeah, I think grappling with the transition of that, of any type of residential in that area. I think we actually accomplished that at that prior meeting
Yeah.
because, whew,
Yes, ma'am.
we don't want people getting hit by cars.
No, we do not.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No other questions?
Thank you. Sir, do you have any other comments or anything for the board?
I do not, besides, you know, we're open to working with the board and the city and the fort as we continually, you know, go and adjust our plans accordingly and ensure that we meet the requirements set forth with the city. We are applying for tax credits next week. One of the requirements to apply for the tax credits is to have zoning in place. And so tonight's vote would allow us to move forward to apply for tax credits. This is going to represent a $12.9 million investment in the community itself. As a construction company too, we like to hire locally for our subcontractors. If we can't find them locally, we go you know, regionally and then throughout the state. So we try to ensure that when we're building a property as well. We're investing in the community by hiring locally. So we think this will be a very big investment in this area, and, you know, take a property that's been sitting vacant for some time, and go put a good use with it. So thank you for hearing us out, and again, we do look forward to working with you guys on our design.
Thank you, sir. Board ready to vote tonight?
Yeah.
We are voting on 26 LUSV 12, 5405 North Post Road.
12.
Request a variance of use from the Fort Harrison Master Reuse Implementation Plan to allow a multifamily development project in an area designed for light industrial. The project will meet the development standards outlined in the City of Indianapolis zoning subdivision ordinance for a D8 as defined in Chapter 742, Article 1, Section 03. The board has unanimously granted your petition. It's
That.
okay.
All
No.
parties the same.
Okay, the next case is 26 LSV 13, 9906 East 63rd Street. Desire to split the property into two parcels and seek a variance of Chapter 744, Article 2, Section 01.b, Table 744-201-1 to allow for one parcel to be 21,801 square feet and the other parcel to be 18,117 square feet.
Thank you, and good evening, Chairperson Lytle, members of the board. Each of you should have an exhibit book that I will walk through very quickly. I am representing Kate Borkowski tonight. She is the owner of 9906 East 63rd and currently resides in the house that fronts on 63rd Street. It's very close to here, just off of Lee Road, kind of catty corner to the school. And there's two streets, 63rd Street and Pleasant Woods Drive, that this property fronts on. Ms. Borkowski is here with me tonight in case you should have any questions. Simply put, she desires to build a new home on kind of what we would consider the backyard of the existing lot. And if you can turn to page 2 in the exhibit book, you can see the zoning map, and you can see that the property is very deep, measured from 63rd Street running north. In fact, it's 420 feet deep, which is way more than you would need to build two houses, let alone one, which exists today. The survey that is in tab 3 indicates that the existing home sits towards the front or towards the south end of the property and fronts on 63rd Street. You can kind of see the shape of the house, and there's a fenced backyard. There is well more than 200 feet from that point moving to the north. So the idea then is to create a new lot, which would be the north lot, and that would be a little more than 21,000 square feet, leaving the existing structure in place, and that would be on an 18,000 foot lot. Now, D1 requires 24,000 feet total for each lot. Not going to deny that. However, that is one of the things that is in your calculus tonight. There are many other standards that D1 has, and you can find the basic zoning dwelling district chart in tab 5. So for what we think is a very important part of your decision-making process is, well, are these lots going to have structures that meet setbacks? There's front setback, rear setback, side setbacks. Are they gonna meet open space requirements? Are they gonna meet frontage requirements? And all of those things go along with the overall square footage part of the equation. I'm pleased to say that every other development standard for D1 will be met if you approve this variance tonight. What this variance will do will allow new construction in a neighborhood that is 50 years old, thereabouts. The house that Ms. Borkowski has was built in 1974, and that's kind of the vintage for this area. I think the homes on the west side of the street are a little bit newer. But this would allow for construction, if you look at tab 7, one home fronting on Pleasant Woods, meeting setback requirements, not overcrowding any other of the homes that are in or along the street or in that segment of the neighborhood. It would meet, it's not going to generate any traffic. It's one single family home. And as you've heard from Renee several times, there is a construction plan, permitting process to assure that stormwater, utilities, and all of those other things are taken care of. So we hope that you would find that it is a good thing to support somebody that lives in the community today that wants to build a new home. The existing home would then be rehabbed and sold to a third party. We think those are all good things for the community. The driving force in all of this is simply the desire of a person that lives here, wants to stay here, wants to build a new home. She works here in the community, and this is a fantastic investment for the community and for this neighborhood as we see it. And I think you can take comfort in the fact that there are, as mentioned in your staff report, a variety of zoning classifications and lot sizes in the general vicinity. Again, this would have very little impact. Our findings of fact are in the staff report. We incorporate those by reference, but the driving factor in all of this is the fact that we've got a lot that it sits has more than 400 feet of depth, which is way, way, way more than you would need to satisfy the D1 standards. So even though you are allowing us to have two lots that are slightly less than 24,000, we'll meet all the setbacks, we'll meet the open space, the street frontage, all of that. It's gonna fit in very seamlessly with this neighborhood and just provide a new home that we think you all would be proud of as a community. And we're grateful that your Renee and staff agrees with that. Happy to answer any questions, and again, my client's also here to answer any that you may have. Thank you.
You spoke on a third party, purchasing the other home. Is that like a private situation, or is it a?
The idea, and I talked to Kate shortly before, is that this home to be built on the north lot takes about a year. She would then embark, she's living in the home that's existing today. She would then rehab that because it's older and then sell it to you or me or anybody else that might want to buy it. It's not intended to be investment property. It's intended to be sold to a third party.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't remember, is there a road running alongside of it? I know where it's at. I see it, I just can't
On the
picture
map-
it right now.
On the map, it's,
It
Pleasant
looks-
Woods.
Pleasant Woods.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
It's a long cul-de-sac.
okay,
You can see it in tab 1, which is, the aerial photo is on the wrong side of tab 1, my apologies, but it's a long cul-de-sac
Okay.
that has a scattering of single-family homes on both sides of the street.
okay.
So the drive would be on Pleasant.
Correct. Exactly.
Joe, are the homes that are across the street from your client's parcel, those look like they're sitting on smaller lots?
They are. Were part of a DP or planned unit development that came in later. Those are the ones that are a little bit newer vintage, and those are closest to 63rd Street and essentially directly across the street from this parcel. Not all of it, but a great amount of it.
Here, it would be nice for a family with the school right there.
Any other questions?
Your house looks beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, you can thank Ms. Borkowski for taking the time to work with an architect to design something that we think the community would be proud of. Just for your edification, this is step one. We still have to file a plat, which we've done, and it is scheduled to be heard in Marion County, of all places, on August 12th. So notices just went out for that today. Posted the signs last night.
Layers.
So, and the plat locks in exactly what we're telling you that we're doing, and that has the exact lot sizes shown. And you can see that if you'd like in tab 4. So,
Does the board have any other questions? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Are there any remonstrators for or against the petition?
We're using it wisdom tonight.
Please state your name and address, please.
My name is Wayne Collins. I reside at 8420 Stark Drive, but my concern is with 9908 East 63rd Street. Just look, how much time do I have?
5 minutes.
Just a little bit about me. My name is Wayne Collins. I grew up in the area. I've gone to school here. My mom passed away in 2012, and we were going to move away. I have a younger brother. He's a nonverbal Downs. But as we talked about, the city of Lawrence is a sense of belonging. So we went to elementary school here. We went to high school here. I've grown up here. So we come to love the city of Lawrence. It's amazing the things we do for the ones we love and the things we love. But my concern is with splitting the parcel. First of all, there's a discrepancy in the survey. The survey has it, even if you go onto GIS, it's 3 feet from my door. My original plot has where the land between my home, which is that I own, 9908 and 9906. If you can go on GIS and look at that, the plot should be evenly divided. It's not. The recent survey that was actually just recently done, we're almost 3 feet from my door, and I don't have a driveway. So I took the liberty to contact a survey company, and I'm going to conduct my own survey and to seek counsel, because I disagree with the way that there was no communication. Again, going back to the point where we're talking about the city of Lawrence. City of Lawrence is good for us to have a rapport if we're neighbors. It's good for us to talk to one another. It's healthy. But there was no communication, to each his own. But there's a discrepancy in the survey for favoring the petitioner. But on the west side of their house, their boundary line goes through the house. If I was the property owner and that someone did the survey, I would have a big challenge, even if I'm looking to sell the property later, I would have a big challenge with the border or with the boundary line going through the west side of the property.
Are you talking about the west side of the new construction or the?
West side of the property that's already there, 9906. I think the property that they're talking about the proposed is behind 9906. So.
Your house is next to her house that
Correct.
she currently lives in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So mine is 9908, and it's to the east side of 9906.
Right here, this one.
To the east side, across Pleasant,
Correct. Well, it's
across Pleasant Woods.
if you look on Pleasant Woods, there's two homes that's right together.
Right.
Our lots are similar. They're almost identical.
Right.
To be exact, he said 420 feet. It should be 417 and a half feet.
Have you scheduled, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
That's okay.
I was gonna ask if you've scheduled the survey.
No, I have not scheduled the survey as of yet.
Okay.
I see what you mean in petitioner's
Yeah, I do too.
exhibit 2. And Joe, you may want to take a look at that. When you look at 9906, it does. The boundary on this cuts through the.
Goes through the house.
It does
Yeah.
not.
That's, and so for me, again, if I was even a property owner, even if I'm willing to buy that property, why is the boundary line going through the west side of the house? So that tells me is, for either the information is either incorrect, or it was done incorrectly. So I have a plot, and I'm sorry, I don't have any visuals. You know, if we need to ask for a continuance, I would ask for a continuance. But the plot plan has where it's divided equally. And then there's an easement that's on the east side of 9906. That easement, the city of Lawrence has not seized the property. So that means is the boundary line should go where the easement is at. If you look at it, it's about,
Is there an easement recorded on the property?
yep, there's an easement for 9906 on the east or the west side of the property. If you go to GIS, if you bring that up, it'll tell you green lines, easement, red lines, border line, or the boundary line. So my concern is, the survey is done, even if the surveyor had contacted the petitioner and say, look, you know, I have nothing to do with that. My concern is there were new pins established. If new pins established, that means there was a discrepancy in the survey when it was done itself. So if there's a discrepancy in the survey, which means is it just needs to be done correctly. I'll have to get a surveyor, and I haven't scheduled it, but I will. I mean, if we need to order a continuance, and I can do this, I said, by next meeting. Is it normally monthly that we usually do the meeting?
So, and this might be a question for the attorney, do we know if there is a recorded easement?
Yeah, I'll explain after Mr. Collins is done.
But then, I think then the question becomes, hypothetically, if there is an easement that would correct the discrepancy in the survey, what I want to hear you talk about is how that affects your property.
Okay. What I wanted to ask about is construction traffic. When I grew up as a kid, well, it's just, and that property back there, it was first, mom and dad bought the property, and we were able to have all the kids over. We loved that. So as for it to affect my property, if this is not corrected, how's construction traffic going to go? Because are you going to come down Pleasant Wood? You have to pour the foundation. You have to, it affects it. You have to go between the homes. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that. And with the drainage on those properties, 9908, which is my home, 9936, and there's another property, all that drains towards the back end of the property. So that means is if you're doing construction for a year, what's going to happen is all that water, it gets really soggy back there, and you get a lot of mosquitoes. So, but if you do construction on a home for a year, what's going to happen is all that water, when you get in the wet season, is going to pool in my yard because 993, 9936, and the one other home, and I'm sorry, I don't know it by memory, and my home all drain towards the back end of that property. So if you're doing construction, where water goes to the path of least resistance. So that means is the water is going to either stand in my yard for a year until they complete construction, or the city of Lawrence will have to, how are they going to do the sewer? It naturally drains now. It drains to the back end of the property, and it drains along, there's a little small creek that it drains into. So it would affect me as a construction traffic, not only with the school. It would affect me because of the drainage for the water. When it rains really heavy, I went out there just recently when we had rain that was really heavy. It's soggy. I got my mower stuck twice back there. My neighbor went before the petitioner was there. Got his mower stuck. So will it benefit them to have the house back? I don't know. I'm just saying, but from past experience, in my point of view, when it gets extremely soggy on the back end of the property, it's not beneficial. It has to dry up. It's over a period of time. But as for me affecting the property directly,
as I get older, I want to do what I can for, not only for myself, but for the future generation. What I mean by that is, when I sell the property, I want a family to come in, and I've already talked to 3 different families that are interested in the property. I want the family to come in and have the kids in the backyard and enjoy the whole time. So if you split that property, it is not as valuable as it is now. So if that was me, I wanted to buy the property, I want to buy the whole yard, I want to buy the whole acre for it. But
Oh, yeah, have you worked with a Realtor?
yes, I'm working with a realtor now.
And did the Realtor say that the property value would decrease if an additional home was built?
I did not ask that specific question, but I can.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful to know.
Okay.
Because if it's negatively gonna impact, because I think the question that is unanswered, let's say another home goes in, does that increase your property value or does it decrease your property value? My natural inclination would be it increases your property value, but I don't know, I'm not a Realtor.
But again, if I'm a family and I'm looking for, it's not everybody that does this. I'm looking for a home that has a big backyard, that has a full acre on it. So again, as a kid, I was able to enjoy that. I'm there, if I purchase that, now I'm being hypothetical. If I purchase that land, you know, it's healthy for a family. Again, I don't know, it could be a family, it could be. It's healthy for a family to look at this and say, look, I like this property, especially for the backyard. So,
Are you currently selling your home?
I have not, I like to sell it at some point in time, but the family that I have interest in, I want to get all the legal issues taken care of at some point in time.
Yeah, I think that's a
Before we,
valid, I mean, it's a valid concern, right? You don't, if there's boundary issues.
yeah.
That's gonna affect your ability to purchase title insurance.
Well, I can't get into,
So,
the way the
I
boundary
recognize
is set
that.
up now, the way the boundary is set up
Okay.
now, I can't, even if they had a fence there, I couldn't get into my garage.
What I'm trying to pinpoint is where you're at in the process, because we'll have to make a decision. So, let's say, for example, if we would continue it, but nothing happened on your end, we'd probably just move forward.
Okay,
Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
So that's why I'm asking where are you at in the process, because I think you're raising valid concerns with how it's affecting your property. But the question in my mind is, will you be able to obtain those answers?
I can-
And the attorney might, have you worked with their attorney?
I have not, I contacted the attorney, a couple of days ago, and then, I've already sent him information, he's out of town, he'll be back in town till the back end of the week.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, because, okay, that's what it was. I was trying to pinpoint where you were at in your.
Yeah, I mean, I just started the process, to be honest.
So to be clear, you saying that now this new bill is gonna be, did you say 3 feet from your door?
The way
Be clear for-
the way the property lines of the survey that was recently done, again, if you go into GIS, the east side of the boundary line is about 3 feet from my garage door. That's incorrect. So that's why I had to seek counsel. Because if, I want to make sure.
The boundary, not the house, just the boundary.
Yeah, the boundary, not the house itself.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm talking about the land boundaries. So what happens is it's actually about 3 feet from my door, and that's incorrect.
So what do you think it should be approximately?
The land between that house should be split almost equally. What happened was in the beginning, so that's the value of living in Lawrence. When you know things, and especially the neighbor that was there before, for that piece of property, there used to be, the garage doors used to face one another. The family that was there before, the family that was before the petitioner, what they did is they changed the garage for 9906 so it'll face 63rd Street. So it gives us plenty of room, but the area that between the homes should be equally spread. It should not, and there is a by Crawford, he did a survey. I cannot find it. I can contact the children of it. But that property should be equally split.
You're talking about the boundaries between the houses.
Correct.
So if,
Rather it being 3 feet from my door, we each should have 10 feet on each side. I'm being hypothetical.
So
yeah.
So you drive in your car down this, like, it's almost like an alleyway to park your vehicle in?
Almost.
Okay, so, and you're saying that instead of having your 10 feet, it goes into 3 feet.
Yeah, it's,
And so in effect, then, trying to figure this out. Can we rezone a piece of property that he's standing up here and telling us he doesn't, that she doesn't own?
No,
No,
no.
We have to kind of see what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, we had, yeah,
That's correct.
yeah,
Of course, we still have Frank, Joe to hear from, so.
yeah.
right, and we have,
Is there-
oh, we
But I
have
mean,
that.
that's basically it. Otherwise, if those issues were resolved, and aside from the construction, because anytime you build a new home,
Yeah, you can have
somebody's
that.
gonna be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Is that your only concern about splitting the property?
But pretty much so, yes.
Okay, because if it's gonna lessen the value of her place, if it's gonna cause her problems, that's her thing. You don't have to worry about that.
For you. But-
Correct.
Right,
But
we're
again,
trying to see the impact to you
Yeah.
and your property.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, again, with the construction, it has to go down Pleasant Wood, or it's gonna have to go between the homes. So you'll have to pull the foundation, you got dump trucks coming in, you got cement trucks coming in.
That'll go
so-
down Pleasant Run,
Yep,
right, it won't go, right, go
Right.
through the property.
But they'll have to come to us for curb cuts. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
simple process. Like, I know sometimes we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
but what I'm focused on with you is what's the impact to your property, to your property value, right? I think the drainage, I always am interested in the drainage
Yeah.
too. And then, yeah, if there's boundary issues, then that's gonna affect our decision to split a parcel
that's,
too.
yeah, again, I wish I would have had a conversation with the petitioner beforehand. And again, it's healthy for us as neighbors to talk to one another. But the challenge that I come in is, when the survey was done, I wasn't, until I drove up on the property. And when I drove up on the property, there was no driveway for me, nothing.
So do you have a driveway currently?
It's not a driveway as in asphalt or gravel, but on legally, yes, it should be a driveway that's there.
Because I'm looking on the map and I don't see.
It's
a driveway
grass,
here.
yes,
It's
it's
just
grass.
grass.
Yeah, grass.
Is there a garage?
Yes,
The garage is attached to the home?
correct. It's a 9908 and 9906 is an
Yeah,
exact
it
double
doesn't
of one
say what's
another.
on this map.
But they're both doubles, but the only thing is, that's what I mentioned before, the garage door
Can you
for
show
nine-
him the map? Or,
What you need?
Well, I don't know if it's,
I just said if he could point his house, I'm just
Oh,
curious.
his house is right here.
On the.
It's just it's right next to them. There's
Which one,
9908.
you talking about this one right here?
Right here.
Okay,
That's his
okay,
house.
okay.
That's his house.
Yep, my garage is actually on the side, their garage is in the front, but that was actually done by the tenants that were there, years ago.
Oh, it's over here. So is this little space right here that he's concerned
Yes.
about? Is
Yes.
it right in here? Yeah, in between here.
So this is 9906, that's
Right.
what we're talking about. And then his is,
9908, right next door.
To the east of it.
But again, that's a
I
red
think
flag
that's
to
his
me,
drive, this-
if the boundary line goes through the house. So the boundary side on the
Oh, I
west
see.
side of their house goes through the house.
But that's her problem.
Yeah, but all due respect, what happens is it encroaches on mine, so
Not on that side, it doesn't.
what I'm saying is when they, even on the west side of the house, that boundary line should be another 10 feet to the
Well,
west.
yeah,
And
that's-
so
It's not a matter, it's not that it pushes it. You're assuming that because it cuts through there, that it's pushing it over towards your way. And that may not be it at all. There may be just a genuine placement there where it cuts through the house, and then on yours, survey will have to take a look at it, and whether there was a piece of property that was common that's supposed to be split with an easement, and I have a feeling we're gonna be told about that, what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
that.
I'm-
So-
I'm assuming Mr. Calderon has already looked into that. So, yeah, we might be able to get answers tonight
Yeah.
if he's
Okay.
already looked into it. But yeah, I mean, I recognize your comment that, neighbors should talk to each other. I don't disagree.
Yeah, and
But
to
that's
each
part
his own.
of, but that's part of the notice.
Yeah.
process. And so that's why you're here.
Yeah,
So it
correct.
is nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah,
it's
and the
nice to
feeling's
hear
mutual,
from
thank you.
Yeah.
And we are hearing your,
Yeah.
what you're having to say, and we're taking it serious.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And if
Thank
you
you.
do get a continuance, and you have to have a survey. There's different types of
Yeah,
surveys.
we'd have to get answers.
I understand.
And
Right.
the one type of survey, if you need it, it can
So-
cost some thousands of dollars.
Between 2,700 and 4,500, I don't have that in my back pocket, but I mean, I can make
Okay, good.
arrangements.
Just as long as you're prepared for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, just,
But we
yeah.
might be able to get answers from the attorney
Yeah.
if he's already pulled, he may have, Mr. Calderon tends to be thorough, so he may have already pulled the records.
We're looking at it like, yeah.
But,
that's more
so
than
we'll find out,
Yep.
we'll find out from him.
He's
but-
chomping at the bit. to
Yeah.
get
But
going.
it's
I know it is.
not, but it is something we're taking seriously.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
It is
Appreciate you.
important.
Well, I mean, like, again, with the city of Lawrence, I love being here. My little brother stays with me. I mean, it's just him and I.
Yeah.
I appreciate our neighborhood, but, so it's right for me to voice my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I also wanted to say, I mean, this is actually the appropriate process for
Yeah.
communication, to have a
But,
public.
thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
The one thing is, I will have to leave. And the reason is I have a caretaker for my little brother, and that's not a sympathy. I just have a caretaker for my little brother for a period of time. I had him from 5 to 8, and that person is ready to go home. So I will leave if that's okay, and if, I guess I'll hear about the judgment from the board from at some point in time. Okay. Renee, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions for me?
No, sir.
I appreciate the time.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Wait a minute.
gotta hear
Wait,
Renee.
we're gonna hear Renee first. Except for, you folks, wait a minute. Just a second.
Are we doing any more?
No, come on.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Harper. I'm married to Emmanuel Harper. We live at 6450 Pleasant Woods Lane,
Okay.
which is actually down the lane.
So
We are
Pleasantwood
the
Lane,
last home if you are going north
64.
on Pleasant Woods Lane. We are
Yep.
to the left.
Could you give your address again?
Oh, yes, 6450 Pleasant Woods Lane.
Oh, yeah, she's at the end of the long.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you're right.
My father-in-law, retired sergeant major, was the second to build on that lane, which used to be called Mitchell Lane, to give historical basis for those of you from Lawrence. Excuse me. Fortunately, the petitioner, or you, had a July 4th, which I was unable to attend, sorry, because my grandkids were over. I have a couple of concerns. One being that the parcel is divided into 2 lots. Is it going to be a single home, or is it going to be 2 homes?
2 homes.
It is going to be 2 homes.
Well, the one in the front that's already built, and
No,
then
no,
just.
no. It has been surveyed as 2 different lots.
And one of the houses holds that for existing house that's on the property.
No. There's the existing house that's at the front,
Yeah.
which she purchased or inherited. You purchased. Okay, and then behind that are 2 lots that have been divided into 2 parcels. So that is my
You're saying-
concern.
you're
Is
saying
this
there's
going to
2
be 1 home or 2 homes?
You're saying there's another lot?
It's divided into 2 lots. Okay, well, it's surveyed. Let's just say it's surveyed as 2 lots.
So you're talking about 64?
I have a picture.
6401 Pleasant Woods?
Wait a minute, Renee's coming up. She's showing you.
Okay.
So
Well,
if you
it's
look at-
surveyed as 2 lots.
If you look at number
The
2.
proposed, so right now, it's one big lot with the house sitting here.
Correct.
What they're proposing is to keep that one house on
Correct.
its lot, so there's a house here,
Uh-huh.
and then they're wanting to build the house here.
No, they have it sectioned off as 2. Now, I could be,
This is the proposed plan.
okay, well, I'm just saying how it's tagged. I'm just saying how it's tagged.
do you mean
In
by
parcel
how it's
portions,
tagged?
there is behind the home, there are
She's talking
2
about
parcels.
So they're not making it 3 lots.
Okay.
It's going to be the lot. that's
Okay,
on the
well, then
house
I'll
now.
take you at your word.
It's gonna
I'll
be-
take her
that's
at her
what-
word.
That's what's right in front of you.
Because it's surveyed and marked as 2 lots.
You're talking 64.
So that was my concern.
6401, which is the parcel that is
There are
behind
2,
it. And
the
pro-
property that
there's
is
2 homes.
behind her
Let me finish,
exists.
ma'am, let me finish, please.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
That's okay. Everybody gets excited, but I'm trying to help you out here. There's 2
Okay.
parcels that abut up against the parcel that petitioner's trying to
Correct.
define, the parcel that that gentleman who just left here, that he owns. And they each have the same address, 6401, but they show them as
Two
two parcels. Is that what you were talking about?
Okay, yes, and perhaps because of my ignorance to surveying skills and all that good stuff, but I'm just doing layman stuff, it is tagged and surveyed as two different lots. So that may be me, not be gross intelligence, but no, I can get what you're saying, that they marked it as such, and it's her lot. Oh.
Yeah, because you're talking 6401 and this is 9906.
We're going to split this one, right? We're splitting this one here. But we're asking, are you talking about these lots?
The lot, behind her house.
Yes, so that's these.
Correct.
Is what you're talking about.
Is marked. So yes, if that is like
It's a
that,
different
then
project.
fine. It's 6401, it's 6401. So that is all her. But it's tagged to make us being,
Think
we
it's
were
two.
two surveys, that is two lots. So we wanted to make sure, are we building two homes? And what I was misinterpreting this evening is, okay, I'm hearing her say she wants to build a home, but as we're walking down the lane and we're seeing a lot segregated here, and then a lot segregated here.
We're just talking about
Right.
this split tonight. I don't know what's going on with this.
And she may not even own 6401.
Yeah.
She does it. Joe is, her
So I
lawyer
guess
is
I'll
indicating she
willing
does
to
not
ask
own it.
you
And we'll ask,
what's going
but I just don't
on and
understand your
whatnot.
concern.
Yeah, that's our concern. It's like I heard
And you're
build a
worried it's
home,
gonna be-
but it's cut off into.
Because I know there's like the three here, so are you worried it's going to be like the three here?
Absolutely, because
So
there
you're
are
not worried about
two
these.
different markers for the land. You don't see what I'm saying, the survey.
Well, I want to make sure I see.
Yeah, I appreciate you, darling. And that's what I'm saying. We didn't know because we're seeing, as we're walking down the lane with our grandkids, we're seeing flags for two, pardon our ignorance, but, two different lots behind her house. And then when we come this evening, and that was our point, being part of the community and our neighbor, to make sure, like, are we building two homes here? And then when I hear her say, I just want to build a home, that's great. The aesthetic would be great to have one home there, and whatnot. But our concern was, are we going to have two homes? And if so, what is the criteria for those homes going to be? Are they going to be vinyl? Is it going to be brick? Aesthetically,
I don't know that we have any control over that.
Right.
yeah, I agree. I know you're zoning and stuff like that, and I can appreciate that.
We're
But
just-
that was one of the things that, for me, and my husband says I'm a little pushy and stuff, but I wanted to make sure that I understood. I'm one that I ask questions. If I don't get it,
Okay.
knowledge is
I
power.
mean,
So I
make
wanted
sure-
to make sure.
And I want to make sure I understand too, you're here, you're mostly here to obtain information.
To obtain information.
But
Also.
as for how does it affect your property is something that I would like.
Absolutely, because if we're gonna have two homes there, the three homes that were on the other side, happened before, we were there and my father-in-law was there, and that was a whole thing that he went through. But it is what it is. We have the three small brick homes there, and what have you. That's great. They're brick, they're aesthetically pleasing, yada, yada, yada. I know that has nothing to do with you. One of our concerns is, though, I suffer from an illness that I do need emergency medical assistance down the lane. So when this home is being built, and there is only that one access down the lane,
Is it a one lane?
it's one lane. What's going to happen?
Two-lane road.
Yes, it's a two-lane road, but when you build something, we all know how
Sure.
power equipment
But it's still
and things of that nature. Where are we going to have to park when this is being done? Is it going to be on the opposite side of your property that's not being maybe addressed at that time? How am I going to get home? How is my husband going to get to me if I 911 him or
Well, that should,
911?
they should always have,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
should always be clear.
So that
Right.
would be
You can't obstruct.
They always have to keep the lane, the road,
And power
Unless they get
and all of
permission.
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
without,
keep
Can't
it.
obstruct
you
traffic.
can't obstruct it
so.
without permission, so that wouldn't be a concern, but.
Well, great. That kind of answers my questions unless my husband and or son.
We'll get clarity.
You
And
good?
and we'll get clarity about the parcel situation. I just want, I came up to make sure I understood exactly what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I didn't get it. Again, being a layman.
It's okay.
It's
That's okay.
marked off like it's gonna be
No,
two
this is-
separate
this is
sold
a
lots.
public
And when I come tonight and I hear her say, or her attorney say, building a home, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not my field of schooling, but nice to know. Thank you.
She didn't stand up. no.
Thank you.
And Sergeant Major, thank you for your service.
That would
Absolutely.
be his father.
Oh, his father,
He's
all right.
Army retired.
Oh, all right, well, thank you for your service.
Thank you as well.
Yeah.
Renee?
Renee Rafflet, Director of Public Works. This proposed variance doesn't introduce a new land use. It's basically taking an existing parcel and splitting it into two parcels. So just for clarity for her, one piece of property into two pieces of property. The house that is there now will remain, and a new house will be built on the other property, which is identified as Lot 1. That property will have to go through the permitting process. There will be a stormwater review, there will be an architectural review, there will be a full review, just like we do on every new house that is built. They'll have to establish water, sewer, electricity, gas if they choose it. All of that is part of the process of building a home. As Joe mentioned, it does have to go before the City of Indianapolis for a plat hearing. That's going to be on August 12th. That will officially record it as a subdivision. It's not a subdivision, it's two lots. But that's the terminology that City of Indianapolis uses. The proposed new home from the conceptual drawing is going to be a beautiful home that fits very nicely in that neighborhood and would match the architecture, and actually it's a bigger square footage than most of the homes in that area. It's going to be a very nice addition. We are in support of subdividing this property and allowing it to become two lots. The neighbor's concern about the property line, that is a civil matter, not one that the city gets involved in. They've got to work that out. Knowing that there's a problem, I'll question that when I get the building plans. Did this get resolved? This is an official survey. It's stamped. It's stamped by a land surveyor. Does it bring a little bit of caution to see where the line is, that it's like right on the edge of the house that's built? It does, but it looks like the house was built and then an additional utility easement was granted. So that's why that line, I don't know if you guys saw that, but if you look in tab 3, there's a 10-foot non-exclusive utility easement that was recorded back in 1994. That was after this house was built. So that may be why those lines are skewed. But it is an official survey that's stamped, so Mr. Collins is gonna have to hire his own surveyor to do a survey, and if there's a conflict, that's handled separately from us.
Right,
Right.
So, let me ask you a question then. And I agree with what you're saying, but then if we go ahead and rezone the parcel, that part of it that's at issue, and it's later determined that she doesn't own it, she improperly asked for it.
She owns the parcel. She owns the entire parcel of 9906. The question is, where is that property line? And that is a boundary line, a property line dispute between
Where-
neighbors that they have to resolve civilly.
But what we're rezoning is what she has drawn
We're
in
not
here.
rezoning.
Right,
I mean,
we're not,
sorry.
Yeah, we're not rezoning. We're
Splitting,
asking
yeah.
for a variance
Yeah.
The issue.
to allow, the lot is required per zoning to be
True.
2,400 square feet, and it's not going to be that. That's what we're asking for tonight. We're not asking for anybody to determine where the property line is
Yeah.
or anything else about the property itself, other than she can divide this lot into two parcels, one that is
21,000.
21,801 square feet, and the other one that's 18,177
And they're both
square
supposed to
feet.
be 24,000.
Right, right, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
So that's really all.
That's what we're here for tonight,
Yeah.
not to.
I mean,
not
she
to
was
det-
effectively gonna be cutting back into that disputed area when she cuts it, but the question of whether she can cut it and all
Well,
that will
and-
depend on what he gets,
Land, the
goes to
setbacks
court,
and-
and, yeah.
Yeah.
All that's
Right.
all the other stuff, so,
Yeah.
okay.
So, when I get the plans in my office, we look at the setbacks, but and code requires you have 10 foot on the backside, 10 feet on the side, or whatever that development standard is for the property. We will look at that. We will look at the drainage to make sure none of the water from this parcel is getting to the parcel on Mr. Collins,
Right.
or the one to the north of it. That's part of the stormwater ordinance, that you have to maintain that on your own property. So that's all technical things that we do during the review process. That's not something that we get into here at this board. We're just asking, can she take this property and make the two lots a little smaller than what code requires? And we are in support of it. Any place that we can take a property and infill a new house, we're almost built out. I mean, we've got to be creative in developing properties that are available. Her intention is to build this really nice house, move into it, and sell the other house, if I'm repeating what Joe had said. So, she's building a new home and then providing another
For someone else.
tax base for the city. It's property taxes. So, we are in support.
Need to hear from Joe now.
Yeah, we want to, now we just need to get on the record more information about the lot lines from Mr. Capps.
Yes, absolutely. So,
Thank you, Renee.
unless you have any questions for me, and I can always come back if you.
thank you, Renee.
Thank you, and sorry for any confusion that we may have caused in presenting initially. Mr. Collins emailed me yesterday afternoon, 3 o'clock, and I responded to him within the hour. I wanted to pull the survey and print a large copy so I could scale it, try to understand what his concern was. And there's two things that he mentioned, one of which does not impact him whatsoever, and that's his claim that the existing house encroaches over the west property line. If you turn to tab 3, which is a copy of the 11 by 17 version of the survey, yes, the west end of that house encroaches beyond the property line. However, this house was built in 1974, and the 25-foot easement came after that. So the house is there, and it's not technically trespassing or encroaching because it was there when that easement was granted. So whoever benefits from that easement took it subject to the existing conditions. That's the west, that does not have any impact on Mr. Collins' property whatsoever. And furthermore, the new home to be built north of that will respect that easement that's in place and be set back from that. So there won't be another home encroaching over anybody else's property or easement rights or right-of-way, whatever, however it's been granted. What Mr. Collins was concerned about with respect to his property to the east is that he said the stakes only show my garage being 3 feet from the property line. There's no encroachments shown on the survey. We're not saying Mr. Collins is trespassing, and I don't think he can say that the existing home or its improvements encroach on his property. Because if you look at tab 3, you can see that there's 20 feet of separation between the existing home and the east property line. It is not unusual for folks to have improvements that they think are 10 feet from a property line and they're not quite, or whatever it might be. We're not looking to put the squeeze on him or anything. The staked survey was done so we could, in fact, do this. And so that Ms. Borkowski could plat and have accurate boundaries for the new home that she wants to meet to avoid any future problems. When I replied to Mr. Collins, I kind of went through that and explained that, hey, I get it. I understand. You're seeing something that's going over the property line. Your conclusion is the survey's got to be wrong. And I read through the survey pretty carefully, and the survey notes clearly state that, yes, the house encroaches over that easement, but it was built before the easement was granted, so you take subject to it.
And just for the record, and it's just a yes or no, do you have any reason to question the accuracy of the survey?
No, because it meets the Indiana Administrative Code requirements to, and I told this to Mr. Collins via email, the accuracy is within 0.13 feet, which is like less than 2 inches. So the uncertainty is nominal. There were no gigantic encroachments or anything like that flagged in the survey notes itself. Granted, that west property line issue was raised, but the surveyor stated, hey, that ingress-egress easement came after the house was built. So there is not an irreconcilable problem from the surveyor
Yeah, I didn't see
report.
that.
It's stamped, it's certified. You know, I just don't think that there is an issue with respect to any of this impacting Mr. Collins' property. And, you know, we're neighbors. And Ms. Borkowski has had communication with them going back to April of this year, when shortly after the survey was done. So this wasn't a last-second surprise. It's been kind of known. I'm sure when he got the letter from me with the notice, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to deal with this. So.
And then also, just so we can, just to put on the record, do you have any knowledge of this negatively impacting Mr. Collins' property value?
Well, I can tell you this. The homes that exist today are 50 years old, the ones on 63rd Street, and are less than 2,000 square feet. Ms. Borkowski's new home is going to be over $1 million construction spend. So in my experience, that would lift all boats in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And sends a very positive signal to others that might be interested in selling or remodeling, whatever the case may be. It sends a pretty positive signal in my experience.
So
Increase the property taxes
Yeah,
too.
there you go.
So I'm looking where, it has, your architect, your surveyor went through and did set spike sets and iron pins and that in the corner things there. So I'm assuming that's what he's saying in Exhibit 3, that's what he's saying. It shows that the property line comes up to like within 3 feet of his garage.
Of his garage, yeah.
And he can't
Pardon me?
he can't have ingress and egress into his garage because of the placement of that boundary line, is what he's saying. Now, whether that was if this was improperly drawn, I know Han surveying, I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect that, and then,
Right.
or whether it was from, bad title work or something that made somebody believe they owned this, I have no idea. But as Renee said, that all we have to do is decide, we're gonna split it down the middle, so.
Right, and that's the boundary, not the house.
Right.
There's a difference.
I just want to also point out Mr. Collins' property does not have a driveway.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the reason it doesn't have a driveway is because it would encroach onto Ms. Burkowski's property. And that's why it was never established. There is no right-of-way cut, there's no driveway cut to service that garage. And I went back, because he called our office
It didn't
earlier
make sense,
today.
right, yeah.
And I went back into Marion County's aerial photos. There's never been a driveway since that house was built. So it kind of raises some questions of why wasn't there ever a driveway cut originally? When I do the measurements on our GIS map, it matches the scale. The legal description matches the plot plan that has been provided. So I unfortunately think that when Mr. Collins does his own survey, he's going to find that he has 3 feet of property from his.
I would mention that to him in the phone call
I did.
tomorrow. Okay.
I did.
I would like,
Can the owner speak?
yeah, I was not going, I was gonna keep my mouth shut. First of all, I bought this house last July, and I immediately spoke with Wayne. We spent 3 months discussing me buying his backyard. I wanted the 2 backyards to build the new house, and then I was gonna try and subdivide it that way. After 3 months, he decided he didn't want to sell the land. So I went back to my architecture and said, okay, make my house fit on this lot. And so we redid it. So he's known since last July that I'm building this house. The survey was done in April, and I was as shocked as anybody to see that front stake on the east side of his driveway, okay? There's gravel, you can see a little driveway. And the fact that his driveway was on my property, again, I was as shocked as anybody. And in April, he sent me a text and said, you know, I need a copy of your survey. Well, I just spent $4,500 on my survey, so no, you can't have my survey. I will tell you, I have every intention of deeding that property to him so that he can put in a driveway. No one has lived in this house for 20 years. He doesn't live in this house. He comes by once every, maybe twice a month. The first time he came by, hi Wayne, how you doing? And, hi. And every time he comes by, he never comes over to say hi or to try and talk to me. He wants to do everything by text. I don't text. So this whole communication thing, I'm happy to communicate, and I'm happy to be a good neighbor.
Does he know that you're gonna deed that part to him?
No, I haven't said anything
Oh.
to him at this point, but again, it's neither here nor there. I've been trying to build this house for 7 years, okay? I too, I'm not from Lawrence Township, I'm a Panther, I grew up in Washington Township, but my family, we've lived out here since 1981. We built a house on Geist Reservoir. All my siblings live out here. I just sold my house in Oakland Hills to buy this house, to build this new house. My office is on Oak Landon Road, just south of the railroad tracks. I'm very excited about.
The art gallery.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm a member of this community as well. And like I said, I've spent 7 years trying to find a piece of property in this area, which is virtually impossible to do.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Mr. Crawford for 7 years. I'd stop by and try and convince him to sell me his backyard, and he says, no, I want to give it to the kids. And he died in March, and the kids sold it to me in April. We closed on it in July, so.
Okay,
And then, let me just check really fast, just again, I'm making my record, but the 6401 parcel, you don't own that, right?
I'm confused as to what you're
It just shows
talking
up
about
on the
there.
GIS zoning map. No, she does
Okay.
not own 6401.
Okay, I didn't.
9906 matches
I had agreed-
everything.
Okay, I had agreed to inquire
Yeah.
further,
Right.
so, and you're only gonna put 2 houses, not 3, like across the street?
Yeah. One new house.
One new house.
One new house, That would
One
be your
existing house, yes.
On two
And
lots.
then I'm gonna rehab the 1975 house and put it on the open market to sell it to anybody who wants to buy it.
Deal, okay,
Okay,
understood.
everybody,
Well, yeah, we had like a lot of,
Yeah,
Lot of-
understood.
things
It
to
can be
analyze.
confusing for
well, and also
laypersons.
we want to make sure that the adjacent property owners are.
Right,
They're
of
gonna be
course.
neighbors, I mean.
But, and I had a cookout April 4th, and you, and I hand delivered my notes to every single house, and you were the only ones that weren't home. But I met all the neighbors, you know, delivering the
Yeah,
notice. and
That's what we
you guys
wanna
were
see.
the only
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's why we're just inquiring further, because, I mean, how it impacts your neighbors is always something we
Of
take
course.
into
It's a required finding. Yeah.
It's a required finding, which means there has to be inquiries too.
Y'all ready to eat?
It's almost not.
okay, the
Thank
board's
you.
going to vote now on 26 LSV 13, 9906 East 63rd Street. This variance is to split the property into two parcels and seek a variance to allow one parcel to be 21,801 square feet and the other to be 18,177 square feet.
Okey dokey.
I'm gonna keep all this
We-
stuff this time.
We earned our, we earned our keep today.
The board has unanimously granted your petition.
Thank you for your patience and
Yeah, yeah,
for that extra question.
Have all
Well, thank you
this.
for having answers for everything.
Sure.
You earned your buddy today.
Should we go home?
Yeah. Yes.
Meeting adjourned?
We gotta